such prestigious universities within such short time span. I would like to appreciate our co-organizers who are Nahep, National Medicinal Plants Board, Government of India, NPUAT, Udaipur, and Maharana Pratap Horticultural University, Karnal. Before coming to the today's session, let me brief our participants about the organizers of this program. Just Agriculture is India's largest agri-professionals platform with more than 7 lakh readers across the world. It offers a prodigious platform for researchers, students, scientists, and other agricultural professionals to share their latest agricultural innovations. The first issue of the magazine was launched on 5th September 2020, and a number of issues of our magazines are published since then. Just Agriculture, the magazine and the newsletter, has published 2,500 plus articles from the academicians, researchers, and students of ICAR universities. Just Agriculture, the magazine, is widely circulated among farmers, professionals, and academicians in 28 states of India and 63 countries globally. On the other hand, Agro-Environmental Education and Farmers Welfare Society aims at enhancing the livelihood of our opportunities for more than 1 million farm households in the country. These both are amongst the largest networks of agriculture and allied science professionals in the country right now. Now coming to the session. Today, I feel privileged to welcome Professor Dr. K. Prathapan, Vice Chancellor, Dr. D.Y. Patil Agriculture and Technical University, Kalsan. Before inviting Sir to deliver his lecture, let me briefly introduce Sir to our participants. Sir has more than 4 decades of experience in research, teaching, administration, and management within India and abroad. Graduated and postgraduated from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, doctorate from Kerala Agricultural University, and fellowship of ICAR, Junior and Senior Research Fellowship, Pondicherry Central University. Sir served as visiting faculty, examiner for PG and PhD scholars at Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, GQAK. He got international exposure at Freud, France, Wageningen University, the Netherlands, Switzerland. He is a peer reviewer for various national and international scientific journals. Sir participated in more than 50 conferences and presented papers. Sir served as principal investigator of ICAR, Government, NABARD, NHM, NMMP, Ayush, RKVY, PMKSY, PKVY, etc. Sir served as advisory member of Endo-Sultan Group meeting at Government of India, representing Government of India. Sir, this has been an expert member nominated by Government of on natural rubber in the Ministry of Commerce, Government of India. He is an expert committee member nominated by Government of India for High Value Horticulture in Lakshadweep Islands and Andaman Nicobar Islands. Sir served as horticultural consultant by H.E. King of Bahrain, Sheikh Ahmed bin Isa Al Khalifa. He is currently serving as National Scientific Panel member of FSSAI FDA. Ayush, Ministry of Health and Welfare, Government of India, Board of Management member of DYP Education Society, deemed to be university. Bestowed with many state and national awards as Scientist, Administrator, Reviewer Excellence Award. Sir guided 20 MScs and 10 PhD scholars and served as advocate research scholar, also published more than 100 research papers. Sir handled more than 750 crore of research, agriculture, horticulture, minor irrigation and fisheries industries. Professor Dr. K. Prathapan, MS, Agri, PhD, PGD, BA, Vice Chancellor.
Yeah, good evening. For a very elaborate introduction about me. Really honored and I'm proud to present before you to speak about the role of agri startups in Indian economy, in rural economy as well as Indian economy. We all know that everywhere we say that Indian economy is a green economy or agro economy and is mostly agriculture-based economy and highly dependent on agriculture production, distribution, and consumption. But when compared to the international standards and all, Indian production per farmer is far less than actually needed. However, despite all the limitations, agriculture sector is one of the most crucial sector of Indian economy. Whatever we do in research, engineering, computer science and engineering, use of artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, robotics, and all in any other walks of life, I feel that all those developments should come into action into the field of agriculture rather than the other sector. Whether we land in moon or Mars, as and when you feel hungry, your stomach has to be fed properly. So we have to worship our farmers. Uh, that's why the slogan came, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. We are proud to be an Indian who really worship our farmers, and we have to continue worshipping our farmers. And our GDP contribution by agriculture is about 14%, which is not that bad. And we export potential from our part, from agriculture sector, is about 70% when compared to all other together. And as per the export money value is about 17.19 billion US dollar as per 2022 statistics says. And here, my humble request is we have to think about the role of agriculture startups for the betterment of Indian economy, because everywhere startups are coming up. And thanks to the farmer producer company and farmer producer organizations, which are funded by state government as well as central government in a big way. I'm very happy to share to my viewers that, I was instrumental while I was serving as a National Horticulture Mission Director with Government of Kerala, as well heading the RKBY Directorship as the Project Planning and Monitoring Cell Director, Agriculture, Department of Agriculture, Government of Kerala. I know we could develop a few farmer clusters in agriculture and allied sector. I am happy that our National Mission for Medicinal Plants is also NMMP, and the Ayush Department is also collaborating with this workshop along with Just Agriculture, because I was part of it for a long period of 6 to 7 years under the Ayush Department as Mission Director for National Mission for Medicinal Plants in Kerala, the land of Ayurveda. And as you all know, we say that Indian economy, green economy or agroeconomy, and we rank second in the world agriculture production. As I mentioned in the introduction, contribute 14% of GDP, with 70% of our total export is from agriculture sector, with 17.19 billion US dollar as the agriculture export. Exploring the innovative startups in agriculture and allied sector, whether it is animal husbandry, fisheries, or any other agricultural engineering sector, it is required at this point of time. The potential for growth, India is a country with a large population and a growing economy. Huge demand for innovative solutions in these sectors are required. Startups are working towards addressing the challenges faced by farmers, industries, and consumers too. These contribute significantly to India's growth story. So we have to give emphasis on the developments happening on robotics, mechatronics, drone technology, sensors, use of artificial intelligence and machine learning for the betterment of agriculture development, either in the form of farmer producer company or in the form of startups, thereby helping our farming community as well as the youngsters who are running between pillar and post for finding a job, mostly draining out of the country. That we have to stop. Thanks to the central government as well as state governments for various initiatives for bringing up startups in agriculture sector in India through improved farming practices like ArcGIS, AI days, aiming at increased productivity, increasing the efficiency and sustainability, which in turn will help to increase the market access, the supply chain efficiency and consumer satisfaction also will be built. And these agriculture startups in India will contribute in economic growth by financial inclusion as well as credit support. And it directly helps in technological innovations. And ultimately, the main objective of startups in agriculture is to create job opportunities, because nowadays people are not willing to work and toil in the soil, so everybody want white collar job, and we have to encourage these startups, especially in these advanced technologies which are happening all over the world, for creating more job opportunities for our youngsters. I'm mentioning here some few agri-animal startups which happened in India as Arav, Unmanned Systems, AgroStar, Absolute, Big Hat, ProFarm, DHAT, RML, AgTech, Keti Gadi, Ninja Cart, Milk Mantra. These are few Satviko. So these are few startups which have come up in recent past, and many of them are doing well. Agri-animal startups mainly working on, though there are a lot of ups and downs, these startups are all witnessing a surge in the innovative thinking. These startups are working on cutting-edge technologies, using artificial intelligence and machine learning, robotics and automation, digital marketing, business analytics, drone technology, etc. So these are the recent developments that are happening in this area. And there are certain popular government initiatives supporting startups like Digital Innovation Mission, National Agri Innovation Fund, Startup India, with larger financial support, credit support, and financial inclusion to these startups which are happening in the country. So it's a positive sign of action. The startups in the agriculture and allied sector are creating new opportunities for youngsters in India through fresh talent and innovative ideas, creation of innovative ideas, encouraging innovative ideas, passion for technology, then bringing sustainability into it. And youngsters can explore opportunities in areas such as research and development, R&D side of these, product design, supply chain management, marketing, and operations. These are few areas I'm highlighting as opportunities for youngsters in startups in agriculture and allied sector. Here I am showing certain startups or initiatives which are happening all over the country. Here I am mentioning about few on high-tech farming for increased reliability on crop production, productivity, when compared to open field cultivation, 3 to 10 times higher yield with quality producers can be obtained. Custom-made producers can also be obtained. On the left, I am showing about the Preeti variety of bitter gourd, which are amenable or which are easily transportable from one place to other. Normally, in the case of bitter gourd, it will be bulged in the middle rather than an elongated Preeti variety kind of thing. A lot of damages are happening while transport as well as handling and marketing. So these kind of innovative things and innovative varieties are coming up thanks to the state agriculture universities under the aegis of ICAR as well as under the Ministry of Agriculture of the concerned states. Quality producers are being prepared or produced by high-tech farming, ideally suited for vegetables and flowers. In Maharashtra, a lot of flower growers are there working under the polyhouse. Again, thanks to the government of Maharashtra also for making a floriculture cluster and the export-oriented production is happening. I'm very happy to say that even the Dutch roses are being cultivated here, and it is being exported to the Dutch land for celebration of various functions and other events. Similarly, the off-season production is possible under the polyhouse cultivation. As you all know, that agriculture is gambling with monsoon. So even off-season time also, we could produce vegetables, fruits, and flowers. And all other natural resources are needed at minimum. Wastage is minimized, and the productivity can be enhanced. Effective and efficient use of nutrients and other natural resources, producing quality produce free of blemishes, monitors and controls the instability of various ecological systems with lesser labor, with reduction in the production cost by 50 to 75%. And of course, the work efficiency can be improved 80% to 90%. These are the advantages of the ester years of high-tech farming, which is now slowly taken over by all advanced AI, ML, mechatronics, automation, sensors, and all. Here I would like to mention the role of startups in India. India has established more startups in the past years, making it the ecosystem with the most rapid growth. Total valuation of startups in India surpassed $1 billion, indicating that there will be numerous top startups in India coming up in this financial year 2023-24. India has already established a solid reputation within the global startup community. It is time to ensure the success of agri startups and propel India to the forefront. So here I'm just mentioning an example of a software engineer turned agriculturist. Organic cucumber produced over the rooftop of a terrace building. This gentleman was working in the techno park of the Trivandrum, capital of Kerala, turned to an agriculturist producing quality cucumber and making good money. Mr. Shafiq, a software engineer turned agriculturist, doing rooftop gardening of quality salad cucumber production on the rooftop. And again, I'm going back to the startups. Startups of organizing user producer groups, linking farmers to market, engaging in research planning and technology selection, enabling changes in policies, and linking producers to a range of other support and service network. Plastic waste, another important concern, cutting down the plastic waste. Startups have the immense potential to address the proximate challenges faced by the conventional agriculture and change the face of the agriculture scenario in the country. And here I'm mentioning about the opportunities through government support, Ministry of Agriculture, Farmers Welfare, Government of India implemented a program called Innovation and Agri-Entrepreneurship Development under the umbrella of RKVY, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, Raftar, to provide financial and technical support for nurturing agri startups, including agri-tech startups using digital techniques. To a total of 799 startups in the field of agriculture and allied sector have been initiated by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Similarly, government is playing as a catalyst in the growth of agri-tech. Leadership is given to the National Center for Management and Agriculture Extension in Hyderabad, manage. They are giving the leadership training programs as well as fundamental agri-tech leadership program serving as a catalyst. Government of India is also planning to grant 2,000 crore or around 270 million US dollars for computerization of PACs, primary cooperative societies, primary agriculture credit societies, or primary agriculture cooperative societies, with the primary aim of benefiting cooperatives through digital technology. Then Atma is also playing an important role, which is initiated by the Ministry of Agriculture, which facilitates retrieval of data and data entry from web-based portals via regular mobile phone without using the internet. The agency is operationalizing more than a dozen services of innovative technologies to the farmers. The current status is that, in last year budget, a lot of funding was kept for agri startups, and our agri new age companies could mobilize around 89,066 crore through initial public offering IPO, which is the highest in the last decade. Similarly, I am mentioning some schemes related to agribusiness like Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, Neem Coated Urea, NCU, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinjai Yojana for irrigation and micro irrigation, efficient irrigation system use. Then Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, PKVY, that is related to organic farming and supporting the indigenous technical know-how and traditional knowledge upkeeping and all. National Agriculture Market, ENAM, the micro irrigation fund, MIF. So these kind of schemes are supporting the startups in India. Startups in agriculture and animal husbandry sectors are creating exciting opportunities for youngsters in India. These startups are leveraging technology to solve real world problem and create value for farmers, industries, and consumers. Youngsters can explore a range of career opportunities in these sectors and contribute to India's growth story. Here, I would like to mention a few more points related to the use of recent advances in technology, like drone technology, keep and maintenance of drones, training, the upkeep and maintenance of drone are to be a newer area which is opened up. What I understood is in Maharashtra itself, few drone upkeep and maintenance training programs are being initiated. In fact, our agricultural university, our agricultural and technical university, we have a machinery testing center, and along with that, we are planning to start a diploma course on drone keep and maintenance, because drones are being used large scale for agricultural operations like pest disease management, diagnosing symptoms using artificial intelligence, then spraying of insecticide, pesticides, and herbicides in the field very efficiently, cutting down the labor cost very precisely, because that is a major gap which is a concern as far as the pesticide residue is concerned. Because as the in the introductory part, it is told that I am serving as a member for FSSAI on pesticide residue. Indiscriminate use of pesticides, fungicides, and agri chemicals, it leads to a lot of health related issues as well as degradation of the soil health also. So in order to cut down that, the precise application of all these PP chemicals, handling of PP chemicals precisely is a need of the hour. So in that, a drone can support a lot. What I understood is, government of Kerala has come up with a very wider program under LSG department that as the labor cost is the highest in the country there. Labor wage is about 700 to 850 rupees per day. So cutting down the labor cost for agriculture operations and allied sector operations, drones are going to be used in a large scale at the panchayat level, block level, and district level. So once a huge volume of drones are coming to rule the agriculture and allied sector, certainly upkeep and maintenance is a big issue that has to be addressed. That is why my university, we are going to start a diploma course in drone upkeep and maintenance course. Similarly, use of sensors, for irrigation purpose, use of a smart farm system, use of ArcGIS or AI connect systems. Again, there also the sensors need to be properly handled. Sensors are to be appropriately used. Awareness must be given to the farming community on a master trainer basis. In that, thanks to Atma scheme, Atma in all the states, they are doing very well. Bridging the gap between or narrowing down the gap between the R&D units or the state agricultural universities and farming community farmers, bringing down the gap between these 2 points, serving as a connectivity. Atma schemes are working on creating awareness among farmers on precise use of PP chemicals as well as timely use of all these chemicals. So that part is also coming up very well. So startups on these areas like sensors, drones are come up. Another important thing is as a necessary evil, the COVID situation has opened up a wider door for all of us, all the farming community and those who are working on in this sector, including startups, to think about the digital marketing. So selling of producers produced by the farmers, and when there is a glut in production or overproduction, getting appropriate pricing is a very difficult thing as far as the farmers are concerned. We witnessed this year the price of tomato, as well as now we are witnessing the price of onion. Sometimes when the glut in production happens, the onion price goes rock bottom price. Farmers are in a very misery state. Similarly with the tomato also. Thanks, this year our farmers could produce good volume of tomato as well as the cost of tomato also was very high. So they got good money. In this point of time, I would like to mention to all the listeners that startups in the digital marketing is the need of the hour. Online marketing or digital marketing of the agriculture producers. For that, startups should come up. Efficient use of inputs. For that, few startups have come up in Maharashtra for advising the farmers based on the soil health card as well as soil fertility status analysis. In Sangli, in Dasgaon and other areas of this southwestern Maharashtra area, some youngsters, they joined together and some startups on soil test based recommendation giving, collecting soil sample, analyzing the soil sample, giving appropriate recommendation to the farming community, the startup in private sector. It has come up very well, especially for grape growers, as well as for the vegetables cultivating farmers of this southwestern Maharashtra. Similarly, the Nasik area for grapes, as well as in Nagpur area for oranges, along with the grape net, orange net. Along with that, startups are coming up in those areas, especially for supporting the technology transfer process from lab to land. So these kind of startups are coming up. It is an encouraging thing, and agriculture will ever exist in the country, and it has to be. for supporting the agriculture and allied sector production, processing, value addition, branding, and merchandising. Startups should come up very well and they have a great role to play. Thank you very much for patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think I can speak for all of us that it was a really insightful lecture. However, there are some doubts and queries from the chat box that I would like to ask them. Sir, please let us know about the schemes or funds by government for startups.
Yeah, Government of India have come up with many schemes for supporting youngsters or entrepreneurs, so-called agripreneurs who are venturing into the startup programs. Some of the schemes which I mentioned just now, there are many schemes like, the schemes which I mentioned, like Atal Mission, then the current ongoing schemes like, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, Fasal Bima Yojana, ENAM. So in all these, there are schemes for supporting farmers or farmer clusters or startups. Okay. And RKBY also there is a provision for funding. For awareness program, for training the startup and all, Atma can support. And the primary cooperative societies themselves can be a member or a unit of a startup. Government of India has a lot of funding for supporting the primary cooperative societies. So based on the locality, for example, if a spice growing area, the primary cooperative societies can help for the spice farmers or support the farmer groups or clusters or youngsters to make startup there. And the other area where farmers who want to, the cluster, the youngsters who want to make a startup, funding can be obtained from a National Agriculture Innovation Fund. They support with very least percentage of interest. And Startup India program is also supporting for making newer startups in an innovative areas. So these are the few governmental programs, both at central as well as state level, to support startups in the country. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a really insightful lecture, and I am sure that the students have benefited so much from this lecture. Thank you so much.
Yeah, somebody is asking about agri startup as how social respect in our society as agriculture student is. Yeah, of course, the youngsters who come up with an agripreneurial mind to make a startup, yes, the society respect them, and slowly the agri startup will develop and grow further, supporting the farming community. Yes, here one module for our agri business management MBA students here is giving a vision on startups, encouraging my own students to begin startups on crop based. As I was mentioning about the Sangli area where the export quality resins are made from grapes. So there are a lot of startups groups of startups are coming up, farmers, youngsters, graduated youngsters in agriculture or other areas of expertise like environmental science and all. They are coming together, 4-5 graduates, they are coming together and starting startups on digital marketing of those resins. There I could find a few groups of startups. They are exporting resins, first quality resins from Sangli area, where the biggest resin auction center is present in Maharashtra, southeastern Maharashtra. So those kind of startups are coming up very well. Not only soil collection, soil sample collection, testing, result, giving result based on the result recommendation of nutrients. These kind of startups are coming up based on the locality, based on the crops available in the locality. In agriculture, startups are coming up. Yes, thank you. Any more questions?
And I think there are no more questions, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for patient listening.
Thank you so much, sir. I warmly welcome our next guest for our session, Dr. Praveen Singh, founder, director, Payag Policy Research and Innovation Institute. Before inviting Sir to deliver his lecture, let me briefly introduce Sir to inspire our participants. Dr. Praveen Singh is an accomplished agricultural professional whose journey spans a multitude of fields within the agricultural domain. With a remarkable 20-year tenure, his experience traverses rural development, academic research, agribusiness, high-tech farming, and a groundbreaking facet, urban farming, particularly hydroponics. Dr. Singh embarked on his illustrious career as a consultant, contributing his expertise to significant projects such as European Commission and the British High Commission initiative in the realm of rural development. Since then, his trajectory has been short of remarkable. Joining Tata Chemicals Limited, he assumed diverse roles across various locations, diligently steering projects towards their intended goals. As a founder member of the customized fertilizer team, Dr. Singh played an instrumental role in the development of tailored fertilizers, branded compost, and outsourced farm services. His professional scope extended to the African continent, where he led corporate farming endeavors, leasing an impressive 25,000 hectares of land from the Ethiopian government. His journey took him further to the National Horticultural Research and Development Foundation, where he served as joint director, overseeing seed business and development activities. However, his pioneering spirit led him to the forefront of innovative agricultural practices, particularly vertical and hydroponic farming. Over the past decade, Dr. Singh's unwavering commitment has been channeled into shaping and elevating the hydroponic growing system in India. His journey commenced with a hydroponic project in collaboration with DS Group, culminating in the cultivation of essential oil-bearing crops such as Jasmine grandiflorum, Jasmine sambac, and Damas rose. Notably, he also orchestrated a triumphant project of Dabur Group, enabling the growth of a variety of exotic vegetables, including lettuce, kale, basil, arugula, rocket, capsicum, tomato, and cucumber. His expertise extends across multiple hydroponic growing systems, including NFT, soilless, and Dutch bucket methodologies. A true kheti bariwala, Dr. Praveen Singh's tireless efforts have pioneered the integration of hydroponic farming as a sustainable solution to meet the burgeoning demands of urban populations in India. His influence reverberates through his association with around 3,000 hydroponic practitioners, where he generously imparts his knowledge to foster the growth of hydroponic sector not only within India but globally. Dr. Singh's influence isn't confined to the physical realm alone. He extends his consulting prowess to hydroponic projects in India, Africa, and Bangladesh. Closer to home, he lends his expertise to three farms in Delhi, one in Mumbai and the other in Assam. His involvement with virtual hydroponic training programs is noteworthy. He has trained approximately 2,000 hydroponic aspirants on the rocket skills, and his online virtual course on the Better India serves as a beacon for hydroponic enthusiasts. Beyond his technical contributions, Dr. Singh serves as an esteemed advisor and mentor to several esteemed ventures such as Kaze Living and Satsumi Farm, among others who are ardently committed to producing high-value agricultural crops. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a privilege to have Dr. Praveen Singh amongst us today. His indomitable spirit, relentless pursuit of innovation, and invaluable contributions have indelibly shaped the landscape of agriculture, both in India and beyond. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Praveen Singh, an exemplary visionary and trailblazer in the field of agriculture. Dr. Praveen Singh, sir.
Hey, thank you. I think Kompal. Thank you for giving me a good opportunity to interact with those who are really looking to shape this Indian agriculture, and especially the high-tech farming and the output side. There are two sides in agriculture. One is the input and another is output. And if we see that output, within output, we have a different types of growing crop and all. And yes, as the previous speaker, he also emphasized that there is a scope, opportunity, and time when you, as a kind of a growing personality, look for an opportunity to develop your own startup, to become an entrepreneur. Believe me, it's really hard. But once you achieve what you're looking for, then there is no kind of a second thought. And my thanks to the platform that they are organizing such type of the training courses or capability building events by which you can learn from the mistakes or from the people who have already experienced those kind of realities. So with those words, I want to share with you that, yeah, future is going to be urban farm. And you know, this is not my words. As per the World Bank estimate, by 2080, almost 2050, I think, 80% of the population on the globe are going to live in the urban cities. And if that is the case, you can just imagine that what the potential this urban farming is. So today we are going to talk specifically on hydroponics. So I'll be with you maybe an hour or so, or maybe some little more. So if we talk about hydroponics, I'm sure most of you know, because now it is really a limelight kind of a technology in Indian agriculture, not in India, abroad also. So if I want to say that, yes, this is the technique which you need to take it forward for one of your kind of aspiration of becoming a startup or becoming a something like kind of entrepreneur in agriculture sector. So let me briefly tell about what is hydroponic, and then the heart of hydroponic, if we talk about, is the crop nutrition is the heart for hydroponics. So what is hydroponics? The first question arises that what is hydroponics? And then there are so many questions people are just just trying to find out the answer, like whether the hydroponics is commercially viable, what is the kind of a ROI you will get, what is the kind of investment you are looking for, and whether this hydroponic is organic or it's not organic. So these are a few of the questions what most of the time I come across, but yeah, answers are there. Maybe once we'll reach to our question answer session, definitely I'll love to address all these questions, but let me explain that what is hydroponic in terms of in my own language, because mostly people know that soilless farming means farming without soil is known as hydroponics, but it is beyond. Believe me, it is really beyond. So the first question comes that whether hydroponic is associated with what? The root or shoot, because the plant is having only two parts. One is a below ground and there is the above ground. So above ground part is always the shoot, the leaf, the flower, the fruits. And the below ground is the kind, only the root, which is the supply source for your plants. So if you consider the plant as a plant factory, so the production unit is the leaf, the shoot, and the raw material supplier is the root. And if we take an analogy that root is a mouth for your plant, and if your mouth is healthy and happy, then definitely your crop, you yourself, is going to be healthy. So the question comes, hydroponic is associated with the root or shoot or with both? So the answer for that question, or that something like a kind of a curiosity, is hydroponic is only linked with the root. This is a technique which is associated with the root, the white part of the plant, the supply source of the plant, the mouth of the plant. So in my own language, what is hydroponic? So hydroponic is a technique to create ideal or a better microclimate around the root zone is hydroponics. Hope you all agree with me. Means it is a technique to create better microclimate around the root zone is hydroponics, because if you are able to create an ideal microclimate around the supply sources, that is the root, then definitely your plant is going to be the healthy plant. And if the plant is healthy, then definitely your productivity, your quality of the produce is going to be much superior than any other crop or any other type of farm. The question comes that what is those ideal microclimate? It's a very simple kind of a thing, because for the root, healthy root or the better microclimate around the root is the temperature, the moisture, the nutrient availability, and even the aeration. And why I am saying the aeration? Aeration is one of the most important and crucial aspect for ensuring a better health of the root, because root, out of the root and shoot, root only eat, means they only perform respiration. And if respiration is happening anywhere, that means they need oxygen. And that's how, if you see in hydroponic growing system or in any kind of a growing system, as a grower, the basic or the minimum requirement is to ensure the availability of oxygen around the root zone, and that too in an optimal level. And hydroponic is a technique which gives 100% control to the grower for creating that microclimate. And there are, maybe I'm sure that those who have already got exposed or visited some of these hydroponic units, they come across that sometimes the plant struggles, and even the grower in hydroponic, they are not able to meet the productivity level of the poor farmer. Why that is happening? Because the skill required, or because the kind of optimization required is not being done by the grower. And one of the most important thing, especially in NFT and DWC, the oxygen, dissolved oxygen content in the running water. So hope I have given you the basic background of hydroponics. And if you see, like, the most important components of the hydroponics, or I should say that factor which ensure the success of hydroponic, is the nutrient management. Efficient nutrient management is the key for ensuring success. So that's how I used to call this the nutrient management in hydroponics, and specifically the software of the hydroponic. And software is what? How to grow your crop. And within the how to grow your crop, this crop nutrition is a heart. So I don't need to say anything. If your heart is healthy, you are going to be healthy. Similarly, if you are efficiently managing the heart of hydroponic, you will be able to ensure the success of your hydroponic venture. So today, I'm going to specifically confine myself around the crop nutrition in hydroponics. So let's start and understand, and I will request for the participants, wherever you feel like that, okay, this is the place I have some queries, maybe you can raise your hand. I will allow you to speak and ask your question, because asking a question is going to ensure you the optimal learning, efficient learning. So now onward, I'm going to take around an hour to explain you all about this crop nutrition in hydroponics. So as you see, like a doctor with a heart. So fertilizer management or nutrient management in hydroponics is the heart. Again and again, I'm emphasizing, because if any grower is efficiently managing the crop nutrition, the chances for the success of that particular project is really, really high. So today, what we are going to talk about, we are going to talk some basic concept of the plant nutrition, because as I come to know from the organizers that the audience are a mix of professionals plus students. So I thought that it would be good that I should start from some of the basic concepts, which I'm sure that you guys have come across. And then we are going to talk about some essential plant nutrient, role of essential plant nutrients, and then basics of hydroponic crop nutrition. And then there is a fertilizer recipe which is designed in very, very handy and easy to use tool kind of a thing, Excel sheet. So I'm going to define that also. And once you design that, how you need to optimize, and if time permits, we can also go for doing a hands-on. So maybe some of the participants are going to get an opportunity to design their own fertilizers. So let's begin. And I'm a person love to be something like interacting. So dialogue is always better. So the whole thing should not be like a lecture. So it should not be a monologue. So anytime anybody is having any question, they can come up and they can ask. Okay. So let's start some of these basic concepts of crop nutrition. So the first very basic thing, which means age-old, the criteria of essentiality, based on that, the crop nutrition is something nutrients are categorized or classified as an essential nutrient. So these are the plant cannot complete the life cycle in absence of that element. So it's a very basic. If there is if that particular nutrient is essential nutrient, so plant cannot complete its a life cycle in absence of that one. It's a action of element must be specific, means the actions should be such that it cannot be replaced with, suppose the nitrogen is doing the kind of vegetative growth, so that cannot be replaced by any other nutrient. So that type of a nutrients are classified as essential nutrients. The element must be shown to be directly involved in the nutrition of the plant. So these are the criteria based on which the scientists have classified that these are 18, 16, or 19 elements which are essential for the plant growth. And that is the basics from where this hydroponic technique started. Because why we are going for hydroponic technique? Because it's make our life easier, because whatever the factors we are aware that these are the factors responsible for growth of the plant, we as a grower in hydroponic technique need to manage efficiently those factors, and one of them is the essential nutrients, and there is no need beyond those essential nutrients the supply of any further nutrients, which most of the organic producers, they used to say that there are 60 elements in soil, and if that is missing, it's mean the quality of your produce in hydroponic is not at par with the organic or traditional farming. But believe me, we have proven that by analyzing in lab that the hydroponic produce are either equally good or superior than even the organic farm. So one of the concepts we need to understand the criteria of essentiality for essential to be classified or to be qualified as essential nutrient, which is 19. If you take out that CHO, they're less than that. The second concept, which as a grower, you must know, is the law of minimum. So what is that? If we need to be an efficient grower, means efficient grower in hydroponic or traditional farming or any other farming, the bottom line is you need to achieve the highest productivity. And how you can achieve the highest productivity? To achieve that, you as a grower need to ensure that all the factors responsible or contributing for the production of a crop need to be at the optimal level. Otherwise, what is going to happen? The factor which is in a least quantity or below the optimal level will decide your productivity. How we can understand? This is a barrel law. So one is the barrel. You can create a barrel by putting a different kind of strips, or maybe you can use the example of a gunny bag. Make a gunny bag using a different strip and cut one strip lower than the other. You can only fill your bag till that level of strip where you have put the cut. So as a grower, we need to be efficient enough for ensuring the optimal availability of all the factors collectively responsible for growing crop. So that is law of minimum, which says growth is dedicated not by total resource available, but by the scarcest minimum resource available. So suppose you are putting highest nitrogen content, but you are failed to give optimal, because nitrogen is required in the highest quantity. So if you're putting a 5 bag of nitrogen and you're missing a 1 kg of your boron, you will not be able to achieve or efficiently utilize that 3 bags of urea versus 1 kg of boron. So your productivity will be limited because of lack of boron, not because of excess of nitrogen. So this is something like a concept which we need to understand before venturing for nutrient management in hydroponics. So another the concept or another basic principle for any kind of nutrient management is hidden hunger. What is that? Hidden hunger is, as name suggested, the hunger which is hidden, means you are, as a grower, you are not able to see that hunger. But yes, the efficient grower, they have the eyes to see that hidden hunger. And as a grower, you always need to maintain optimal factors in terms of nutrition, in terms of other resources. You need to ensure the optimal availability to ensure the top productivity, the top yield. Because the moment your plant switch over or slip into hidden hunger zone, it's mean your productivity reduction started from this point only. Till the time symptom appears, a lot of damage already happened. So once the damage happened, you cannot reverse it. So as a grower, you need to be efficient enough for ensuring the optimal availability of all the resources required. So the basic concept, again, there are different types of a classification of all the essential nutrients, because all these are essential nutrients, and some of the basic nutrients, some of the primary nutrients, some of the secondary, and some of the micronutrient. And then here is the chlorine is added. Even the chlorine is still not considered unanimously the essential nutrient. So these essential nutrients can be classified based on the amount required, like primary, secondary, and micronutrient. Mobility in soil, because some of the highly mobile in soil and some of the immobile in soil, like phosphate is immobile and nitrogen is highly mobile in soil. And mobility inside the plant is also equally important to know and understand. What are those nutrients which are highly mobile? Like if I talk about nitrogen, again, nitrogen is always mobile. It's very energetic. The moment root absorbs, it reaches to the top of the plant, and that's how the deficiency appears on the lower leaf of plants. And then chemical nature and function in plants. So these are some of the criteria. Based on that, you can classify your nutrients, essential nutrients. I'll briefly touch upon this point because I'm sure that everybody is aware about the role of different nutrients. Like nitrogen is always associated with the vegetative growth. Phosphorus is always associated with root development. Potassium is always associated with the quality of your output and productivity and stress management. And also it is kind of a transport agent inside the plant body. And again, the calcium is also always associated with the cell wall formation and other kind of cell division and all. So residue plant respiration also, reduce of plant respiration also. Even potassium is responsible for fighting with the disease resistance as well as drought resistance nature. So these are a very, very basic things which you should know. That like magnesium is somehow directly linked with your chlorophyll, and that's how it is associated with photosynthesis. Iron is again acting as like in a human body, the hemoglobin is working like iron is something like a carrier of oxygen for the plant. So like Mn is function as a part of different enzymes increase the availability of phosphorus, and because these are the antagonistic impact, because if Mn is available, then phosphorus and calcium availability will go up. Zinc is majorly known for enzymatic activities and starch formation and it's a seed formation also. And even the sulfur is always linked with the formation of amino acids and essential oil. So oil bearing crop, the sulfur is required. And even the crops which have a scent, like in hydroponic, the basil is one of the crop which have a scent, and then rosemary, thyme, all these the herbs, they require something like a good quantity of a sulfur. And then boron is one of the most essential element for ensuring the fruit formation, because boron is responsible for the pollen tube germination. If boron is absent at the time of flowering and fruiting, then there will be no pollen tube formation. And if the pollen tube is not formed, then the fertilization process will not take place. And if you are getting chaffy grains, means दाने बिना भरे हुए दाने या फल नहीं, fruit bearing नहीं हो रही है, fruit drops हो रहे हैं, this boron is associated with that. So these are some of the essentially when the crop were one of the most important kind of essential nutrient. But as a grower, we need to be very cautious. This one of the nutrient, if it is present in excess, it also gives you a toxic impact. So as a grower, we need to be very, very cautious while assessing the requirement of a copper in any growing system. And molybdenum is always associated with the leguminous crop and specifically in soil for nodule formation, but here required for enzyme nitrate reductase. But here in hydroponic, this is not that critical. It's in the formation of a legume nodule. This is again because we are not allowing in hydroponics the nodule formation or any kind of a micronutrient growth. Okay, so the main part, the fertilizer sources, basics of hydroponic. The first thing is what type of fertilizer we need to use in hydroponics. क्योंकि ये सवाल सबसे पहले आता है कि साहब मैं हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में कौन-कौन सी खादें इस्तेमाल कर सकता हूं. So there, as we know that hydroponics something related with the water, so always use water soluble fertilizers only. Okay, because what is happening, the most of the fertilizer which are soil grade, they are designed considering the soil as a microclimate. So they are not at all suitable for hydroponic growing system. So if you are starting any hydroponic venture, the first thing is you need to go for water soluble fertilizer as a source of your nutrient. However, there are a lot of opportunity to experiment, because I'm sure that some of the participants, they know in parts of Maharashtra, Nasik and all, and even in Punjab also, some of the guys, they are using urea after putting it in a solution form. They are adding these in water, making a solution and holding it for overnight, and then they are applying to their drip irrigation, and they are putting little soil also. So what the process they are doing, they are converting that amide fertilizer into nitrate or ammonical form of fertilizer, because urea in presence of a urease enzyme is undergoing the hydrolysis process and convert from amide to a nitrate or ammonical form, and that's how they are getting more efficiency. So this is the possibility, because all the water soluble fertilizers, they are costlier than the soil grade fertilizer. However, we need to experiment that what are those soil grade or cost effective or cheaper fertilizer can be introduced in hydroponic growing system. But so far, if you are starting, start with the water soluble fertilizer. And again, I'm saying that amide source of fertilizer, they are not fit in hydroponic because this required a microbial activity. At the end, I'll definitely elaborate that, because amide fertilizer is urea. So urea is not allowed in hydroponic growing system. Even the 1919, the part of nitrogen is supplied through urea. So there is nitrate source and urea, both are supplying the nitrogen in 1919, which is one of the most used hydroponic, means water soluble fertilizer, but that is not recommended in hydroponic. But yes, people are using that because of it. It's partially it is nitrate and partially it is a urea. So as a grower, you should avoid using that. Why? I'll tell at the end, when I'll just give you the complete hydrolysis cycle for urea. Again, one more thing is only branded fertilizers should be used. Why I am saying so? Because most of the hydroponic farms, they are capital intensive. So अगर आपने पैसे ज्यादा लगाए हुए हैं, so उसके अंदर अगर आप adulteration की वजह से fail होते हैं, so it's really a serious concern. Somebody has raised a hand, so I'll ask the organizer to allow for the question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, ask your question. Oh, audio is not, now it's connected. Go ahead, ask your question. Hello? I don't know if you can ask your question, it's okay. Otherwise, we need to move ahead. Anyway, Mr. Reddy, that I'll definitely explain why the urea is not soil grade. Means it is whatever the fertilizer is designed for using in मिट्टी की वाली खेती में जो traditional farming में use होते हैं, that is the soil grade fertilizers. Most of these urea, DAP, MOP, they all are a soil grade fertilizer. How does we know that this certain crop need this amount of? We will come to that, why amide is not fit. So all these answers you will get at the end of the presentation. Okay, so be with us. These all answers are there at the means in this presentation itself. Okay, so one more factor while we are going to design or a basics of hydroponic crop nutrition is the nitrogen source. As a grower, we need to maintain both nitrate and ammonical source of balance of nitrate and ammonical source of a nitrogen, because that is the key for ensuring that the plants are getting sufficient kind of a nitrogen. Because if you see, some of the plants, they love nitrate source of nitrogen, and some of the plants, they love ammonical form of a nitrogen. So if both are available, then there will not be any kind of a shortage or deficiency of nitrate or a nitrogen specifically. Okay. After that, the second basic concept about hydroponic crop nutrition are how you are supplying your nutrition or fertilizer. So if we see or classify this types of fertilizer application, it is based on recirculation and based on mixing. We can classify in a different way. Like if I talk about circulation, so circulation is open system and closed system. So if I talk about open system, means this is the system where the pump is pumping or supplying the nutrition, and whatever is excess, it is leaching out and absorbed in the soil. So open system is that where you as a grower applying some fertilizer solution and the excess is leaching out there and absorbed by the soil is the open system. And closed system is where the leach or excess water or a nutrient solution is coming back to your basic tank or supply tank, and after adjustment of a EC and pH. Okay, that is also one most important thing in hydroponic. Electrical conductivity and pH is the two parameter which as a grower you need to maintain at the optimal target level. Okay, so closed system is that system fertilizer management. In fertilizer management, closed system is where we are reusing the fertilizer solution, means recirculating the fertilizer solution. So a ratio of a nutrient is supplied to the crop. Whatever is being absorbed by the plant is again going to be replenished in the tank, and again the same nutrient solution is going to be again going back to your crop. So that's the closed system, which is most efficient system in fertilizer management. Open system is a little less. Okay, so somebody is saying thanks from Kenya. So second is the based on mixing, we can classify the fertilizer application method is tank mix, inline, and manual. These are three different ways how you can supply your fertilizer to your hydroponic unit. What is the tank mix? Because in this, there is a one tank as a source of supply, water supply to your crop. And in automated system, as a grower, you have to set your automation system, automated fertigation system, where the whole nutrient is mixed in a tank and that is supplied to your crop. And inline, there are irrigation fertigation system where the nutrient solutions are mixed in the water which is supplied to your crop. Okay, and manual, definitely the ventures are there, so you can add manually using the venturi. I've seen some Mr. Mukesh want to have some question if he's already still there, so maybe you can allow to speak. Yeah, Mukesh, go ahead. So organizer, please allow him to ask his question, but very quick. Mukesh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, Mukesh, बताइए.
Sir, closed and open system repeated, sir, explain.
बहुत सिंपल सा है मुकेश जी. उसमें क्या है, क्लोज सिस्टम इज कि जो एक जहां से पानी आप सप्लाई कर रहे हो न्यूट्रिएंट सॉल्यूशन, वो वापस फिर उसी टैंक में आता है जहां से आपने सप्लाई किया था, और उसका जो ईसी पीएच या सॉल्ट कंसंट्रेशन होता है, जितना पौधे ने ले लिया उसमें उतना ही ऐड करके फिर से वही पानी जाता है. तो ये ऑलवेज एक साइकिल में घूमता रहता है. Yeah, so that is the closed system. And ओपन सिस्टम में एक बार आपने फर्टिलाइजर सप्लाई किया तो वहीं पे जाके वो जितना बैग में होता है, बैग में वो एब्जॉर्ब करता है प्लांट. जनरली वो सॉइललेस हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में होता है, और फिर बाकी का बचा हुआ वो लीच हो जाता है. सो दैट इज द ओपन सिस्टम. ओके, so coming back to some more basics of hydroponic crop nutrition are like we need to maintain EC and pH, which is the heart. Again, within the heart, there is a heart for this crop nutrition, which is EC and pH. What is EC? It is a electrical conductivity. If people are little technical, so इसमें क्या होता है कि दो प्रॉब होते हैं, और जब उसमें से करंट पास किया जाता है तो एक प्रॉब से दूसरे कैथोड तक जाने में जितने ऑब्स्टेकल क्रिएट करते हैं, क्योंकि जो सॉल्ट होते हैं वो आयनिक फॉर्म में होते हैं, एंड दैट इज नोन एज इलेक्ट्रिकल कंडक्टिविटी. सो इनडायरेक्टली अगर बोले तो आपके सॉल्यूशन में कितना फर्टिलाइजर का कंसंट्रेशन है वो आपका ईसी से मेजर होता है. और दूसरा जो पार्ट है पीएच, which is really crucial, because आपको जो न्यूट्रिएंट अवेलेबिलिटी होती है, आपके जितने भी एसेंशियल न्यूट्रिएंट हैं उनकी अवेलेबिलिटी डिफरेंट पीएच लेवल पे डिफरेंट होती है, एंड दैट्स हाउ इट इज रिकमेंडेड कि आप अगर ग्रोइंग कर रहे हैं हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में, always try to maintain little acidic solution. That will be most efficient way of supplying nutrient. Under that acidic little slight acidic condition में आपका nutrient absorption will be much better. The next basic is the fertilizer recipe. What is the fertilizer recipe? Means the ratio of different nutrients. They need to be project specific. Hydroponic is having a very tough kind of a thing, or hydroponic don't have any kind of opportunity to opt for copy paste. So suppose at an X grower place, if a recipe is performing really good, it is not 100% assurance that at the Y grower's place, the same recipe will give you the same result. So as a grower, you need to design recipe for your own project. Never try to copy paste, otherwise there is a high chances of failure. Okay. Next basic about the crop nutrition and hydroponic is fertilizer recipe need to be crop and stage specific. I'm sure you know that crop is specific. If you're growing leafies, so then your fertilizer recipe need to be for the leafies. If you are talking about any vine crop like cucumber, tomato, or pepper, then the recipe need to be that way. If the short duration crop like leafies, it is okay. One recipe will work throughout the crop cycle. However, if you are looking for a long duration vine crop like tomatoes, which lasts for a 6, 8, or 9 months, even in Europe, it is something sometimes goes 11 months. So for that, as a grower, you need to calibrate your recipe at the growth stage level, because the moment you are transplanting your seedling, at that time, root development is the most important thing, which as a grower you need to take care. So at that time, your recipe need to be designed in a way where you can just supply more nutrients which are supporting for root development. Similarly, for the vegetative growth, you have to again develop a different recipe for that stage, and similarly for the fruiting and harvesting stage. Nutrient ratio should be as per the crop growth stage. So again, it's a recipe, and the ratios of and as a grower, what you need to do, you only need to play around the different ratios of all these essential nutrients. So your ratios need to be as per the crop stage. So these are some of the basic before venturing in designing your fertilizer recipe. One need to know all these things. Okay, so one more basic. I'm sure some of our participants who have exposed to hydroponic unit, or they have seen some of the videos, or on any social media platform, they have seen there are 2 different types of a tank. Why there is a 2 tanks? What is the need that we need to have a 2 tanks? So this is the answer, because you as a grower need to be able to understand what are those fertilizers, they are compatible to each other. If you mix incompatible fertilizer together, you will get something like coagulation, or it will convert into a curd-like solution. And that's how one group of compatible fertilizers are put in a one tank, and another group of compatible fertilizers are put in the second tank. That's how in hydroponics, always there are 2 tanks for a nutrient solution. Okay, so this is the something kind of a fertilizer recipe sheet, which we designed over a period of time, doing all the experimentation, doing all the required check and balances. But as a grower, your life is very easy. Here, you need to put a value in all these kind of a green cells. Like, as a grower, you need to put what is the total water requirement per day of your crop, or what is the tank size of your growing system. And the second information, what you need to add here is what the EC you are targeting, electrical conductivity you are targeting. So you have to put here, rest the estimated is going to be here. After putting these two values, one is what is the water requirement or the tank capacity, and second, what is the targeted EC, then you have to play with these fertilizer quantity. And you are in this sheet, you are allowed to do that. You cannot add any values apart from these green ones, because initially we started with sharing all this complete sheet without protection. And what happened? People, they just disturb all the formula. So that's how now this is kind of a sheet which is designed as a tool, which as a grower you can use, and you can estimate the fertilizer quantity. These quantities you can put, and this value you can match with the targeted EC by playing with the quantity of the fertilizer. Here, if you see, one is ammonical nitrogen percentage. This cell is red because the ratio need to be between nitrate and ammonical is somewhere around 10 or 11 or maximum 12% as against to nitrate. If it goes beyond, this cell itself will give you the red in flag that, okay, you have to bring down your ammonical content or ammonical source of a nitrogen. And if it will go below 11 or 10, then again it will show you the red flag. So as a grower, you really need to do anything, only play with these numbers, and over a period of a time, you need to see that what is the ratio. Suppose this recipe is very clearly saying that phosphorus ratio or phosphorus content is highest. So this is the recipe ideal for the stage when the plant required to develop the roots. So as a grower, over a period of a time, you will get experience, and you need to maintain this NPK ratio. And also you have to see the other nutrients. They should not be something like a very huge differences in kind of a micronutrient and major nutrient. So as a grower, you have to play with these numbers, and this sheet itself will estimate everything, the ratio, the estimated EC, this value, and even the ppm value of that particular solution. So this is the first sheet where you have to work on. But after working on this one sheet, you will also get the second sheet, which is in that file itself, where you will get that what is the quantity of a nutrient you are going to supply to your crop by using whatever the fertilizer source you are using and whatever the quantities you are using. And the third and the last sheet of that particular fertilizer recipe designing tool is the report. So as a grower, you can hand over this report to any of your kind of supervisor or a field staff to prepare the fertilizer recipe. Because if you want to just go for tank A and tank B, because these are the nutrients which are compatible to each other, so they are we need to put in tank A, and the 1 day quantity is this and the 7 day quantity is this. So as a user, you have to instruct, go in a one bucket, you just measure this quantity or this quantity, and in another bucket you measure this quantity and mix in different tanks. And while mixing, you need to be very cautious. You never opt for mixing this fertilizer in the fertilizer tank. First, you properly mix in sub tank or maybe bucket or any other container, and the completely mixed solution need to be poured in the fertilizer tanks. Because most of the time when you are adding the solid fertilizer directly in your tank, and if you don't have an agitator or agitator facility, most of the time that solubility of nutrient is fertilizers are different, and if one of them is still not completely or 100% become a soluble in the solution form in that solution, your whole ratio will be disturbed. So that's how whenever you are mixing or whenever you are pouring your fertilizer, first you mix in a small container, bucket or anything, 100% solution need to be poured in your fertilizer tank. Otherwise, you will feel like, oh, I have designed a very good recipe and I should get a wonderful result. But just because of that a little kind of a mistake by the worker, the whole recipe ratio will disturb, and ultimately you will see the impact on your crop. Not only that, we also have one kind of a table in the first sheet itself, where if you put all the rates of your fertilizers you use, only because I told you only the green cells you can add values. So if you just put the rate per kg here, you will get the total cost of your one recipe. So while doing your working also, you can do something like a financial analysis also in terms of a crop nutrition. Okay, so fertilizer management in hydroponics, specifically nitrogen fertilizer. So there are some questions. I'm going to respond on that. Is it advisable to use urea or DAP as a source of nitrogen in hydroponic system? Answer is no. Rupali has raised a hand. So Rupali, you can ask the question. Organizers, please allow her.
हेलो गुड आफ्टरनून सर।
Good afternoon, Rupali. बताइए।
सर मेरे को सबसे पहले ये पूछना था, जब हम हाइड्रोपोनिकली ग्रो करते हैं तो जो हम वाटर यूज करते हैं फर्स्टली लाइक नॉर्मल टैप वाटर, तो हम वो यूज कर सकते हैं टैप वाटर?
That's a good question, Rupali. See, there are two types of a hydroponic system. One is hobby purpose, which you can install at your maybe balcony, maybe rooftop, maybe anywhere. That is a small for home purpose. So in that you can use your tap water, because if the productivity, suppose you install a one unit at your home and you are getting, means you should get, if you're using something like 100% hydroponic technique, then you should get a something like maybe 8 kg of tomatoes. So if you are using this something kind of a tap water and it is of a high EC or salts are not good in that, favorable for the crop growth, what worse is going to happen? Maybe instead of 8 kg, you are going to get a 4 kg, which is still the good at your hobby unit. So in hobby unit, you can use that. However, if you are going for a commercial hydroponic unit, it is always advisable to go for the water analysis, assess that what are those salts are there and what is the level of salt concentration or a EC. If it is beyond something like 0.3, 0.4 or 0.5, it is always advisable to go for a RO unit. So use only RO water. Why that? Because the moment you are taking out all the salt present in groundwater, you as a grower have 100% control. Whatever you are feeding in terms of fertilizer solution, that only going to go to your crop, and your crop is going to give you the result what you're looking for. But if you will use groundwater in commercial hydroponics, then maybe if there is a sodium, it is going to negatively impact. If it is having some heavy metal or anything, again, my whole concept of quality is going to be defeated. So in commercial hydroponic, it is always advisable to go for a RO, treated water.
ओके सर। और सर सेकेंडली सर, जो हमारा EC होता है वो हर क्रॉप्स के लिए डिफरेंट होता है सर?
Now you have to pay attention, because that I have already shared. हर क्रॉप की, इवन सम ऑफ द क्रॉप जो लॉन्ग ड्यूरेशन है उसके डिफरेंट स्टेजेस में भी डिफरेंट होता है. एंड इवन it depends on a project specific. Suppose a project is something like कि आपके यहाँ कोई एक प्रोजेक्ट लगा है और उसमें EC आप मेंटेन कर रहे हो मे बी 1.5, जस्ट एज्यूमिंग, ठीक है, 1.5 EC यूज कर रहे हो. एक दूसरा प्रोजेक्ट आपके बगल में ही है, उसने आपका देखा आपका क्रॉप बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है एंड ही जस्ट ट्राइड दैट सेम 1.5 और उसका क्रॉप अच्छा नहीं होता है. So why I am saying कि every crop, every project, every stage need to have a different EC, electrical conductivity, indirectly the fertilizer's concentration. Because अगर आपके रूपाली उस फार्म पे सनलाइट अच्छी आ रही है, तो इसका मतलब क्या हो रहा है, ट्रांसपिरेशन एंड इवापोरेशन ज्यादा होगा और पौधा ज्यादा पानी एब्जॉर्ब करेगा, और ज्यादा पानी एब्जॉर्ब करेगा तो लो ईसी पे भी वो अच्छा परफॉर्म करेगा, वर्सेस जहां पे अगर सनलाइट ऑप्टिमल नहीं है, शेड है, कोई पेड़ है, और वहां पे जो एब्जॉर्प्शन होगा पानी का वो लेस होगा, तो वहां पे जो ईसी रखना होगा वो थोड़ी हाई रखना पड़ेगा, तभी प्लांट का न्यूट्रिशनल रिक्वायरमेंट पूरा होगा. ओके
यस सर. तो मतलब जो हम हाइड्रोपोनिकली, अगर सर नॉट फॉर द कमर्शियल पर्पस, जस्ट फॉर द एक्सपेरिमेंट और फॉर योर रिसर्च वर्क, अगर हमें हाइड्रोपोनिकली कुछ ग्रो करना है, लाइक छोटे से लैब में, लाइक हम रूम में कर सकते हैं ना, कि हमें सिर्फ पॉली हाउसेज में ही वो कंडक्ट करना पड़ता है? इसमें कुछ डिफरेंस आ सकता है सर, मतलब उसकी क्वालिटी या क्वांटिटी पे?
रूपाली, इंडियन कंडीशन में आई विल नेवर एडवाइज टू गो फॉर आर्टिफिशियल लाइट. ठीक है, तो पहला तो वो हो गया कि आपको आर्टिफिशियल लाइट में नहीं करना है, क्योंकि आपकी इंडिया में नेचुरल लाइट प्लेंटी अवेलेबल है. सेकंड, जो आपका सवाल है कि ग्रीन हाउस में करना चाहिए या बिना ग्रीन हाउस के भी कर सकते हैं, इट्स अ बिग मिथ. पीपल आर कैरिंग कि हाइड्रोपोनिक लगाना है तो ग्रीन हाउस लगाना है, सब कुछ लगाना है. अगर आपको घर में करना है, सो डू योर सीजनल वेजिटेबल. देयर इज नो नीड फॉर हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में कि आपको वो लगाना ही है, ग्रीन हाउस या प्रोटेक्टेड कल्टीवेशन करना ही है. So hydroponic, again, you need to see hydroponic is what? It is a technique to create an ideal microclimate around the root zone. There is no linkage with the shoot. अगर आप seasonal vegetables hydroponic में grow करना चाह रहे हो अपने घर के पर्पस के लिए, बिना किसी ग्रीन हाउस या प्रोटेक्टेड स्ट्रक्चर के आसानी से कर सकते हैं. ठीक है?
ओके सर. एंड सर लास्ट क्वेश्चन,
सर जो हमने अभी hold your last question for till the last presentation. Okay,
okay sir, okay, sure,
that will be better. Okay, thank you, Rupali. So maybe I'll there are two more guys who have raised their hand, so I'll just something like go through with this, and then maybe the organizers can allow them to speak. Okay, so even if we talk about some of the basics, what we are talking about, the fertilizer management in hydroponic, as I mentioned, 1919, which is one of the most used water-soluble fertilizer in India, is not fit for hydroponic crop production. Why? Because in 1919 NPK. So the source of nitrogen here is a combination of two. One is nitrate source, another is in the form of urea. So urea and nitrate both are coming to supply this 19% of nitrogen, and urea is not at all recommended or advised in hydroponic growing system, and that's how 1919 is also not a fit fertilizer for hydroponic. Many guys are using, but it is not fit. What are the criteria for selecting source of nitrogen fertilizer in hydroponic growing system? I have already mentioned that it's a water soluble. It should be kind of a good ratio of ammonical and nitrogenous fertilizer, and there should not be any kind of soil grade fertilizer in it. Okay, these are some of the criteria by which, and again, the branded fertilizer. What should be the ratio of ammonical? I have already shared something like 10 or less than 13% of ammonical for a source of, and rest is need to be supplied as a nitrate source of fertilizer. Okay, this is one of the most crucial part while you are designing your hydroponic fertilizer recipe, because fertilizer recipe need to be designed. Okay, and while designing, if you recall the hidden hunger, the symptom appears when the damage is done already. So what I'm saying, while designing is एक और भी चीज है यहाँ पे, when you are going for a commercial or entrepreneurship in a hydroponic farming, you need to opt for a pilot project where you have to standardize all the growing techniques or how to grow your crop. And one of the most important thing, after designing your fertilizer recipe, how you are going to calibrate it. One is designing, another is calibrating whether your crop is performing or responding to your exact what you design, or there are there is some difference, okay, or deviation. So as a grower, first step is to design the recipe. Second step is to calibrate the recipe. So while calibrating the recipe, there is a chances that you will get some deficiency symptoms. So if you are not aware that what is the deficiency symptom for what nutrient, you will not be able to tweak your recipe. Means suppose there is a symptom which says there's a nitrogen deficiency. So you have to increase the nitrogen content in your fertilizer recipe to calibrate it. So as a grower, while designing or calibrating your recipe, you need to be very sure about these symptoms. So to make your life easier, very simple thing. The moment you are observing your crop, the first thing you need to see whether the symptom is on the older leaf or a middle leaf or a new leaf or at the growing bud, means apical bud. Okay. So first step for identifying the deficiency of particular nutrient, you need to see that what is the location or a part of the plant where the deficiency is. Suppose as a grower, you see that the symptom is on the lower leaf. So it is a very clear, you need to tweak your NPK, Mg and molybdenum. So these are the nutrients which shows their deficiency symptom on the lower leaf. If you recall, I said, I share with you the nutrient mobility inside the plant body. So that decide where the deficiency symptom of particular nutrient will appear. Like NPK, Mg and molybdenum, they are highly mobile inside the plant. The moment root absorbs, they are highly mobile, and that's how what happens. The moment they get absorbed from the root, they reach to the apical part, and that's how the deficiency of these nutrients, they never occur on the apical part. And suppose if you are getting a symptom at an apical part, it's only calcium, boron. These are the nutrients which you need to take. And if on the new leaf, so maybe sulfur, copper, iron, and manganese. And if it is in a middle leaf, so zinc. So the first, as a grower, while designing your recipe, you need to see what is the part of plant where the deficiency symptom is appearing. And based on that, you have to take a call that, okay, these are the nutrients which are deficient. So let me increase the quantity of these to ensure a right calibration of your fertilizer recipe. After identifying that what is the plant part where the deficiency is, the second step is how I identify that which nutrient. Like if we talk about old leaf, these are the 5 nutrients which may be deficient in your fertilizer recipe. How you just narrow down that what is exactly the nutrient deficiency. So if I classify the deficiency symptoms, so there are only few. So if there is a dead spot, so potassium or molybdenum is the nutrient which is deficient in your recipe. If there is a no dead spot, so maybe nitrogen, phosphorus, and magnesium, these are the nutrients because of that the symptom is appearing on the lower leaf. And out of that also, if you want to just further drill it down, if the veins are green means intervenal chlorosis. कि जब पत्ता पीला पड़ता है तो पत्ता पीला पड़ने में 2 तरीके का पीलापन होता है. एक तरह से यूनिफॉर्म पूरी पीली हो जाती है जिसको कि आप क्लोरोसिस कहते हैं, और कुछ होता है जिसमें कि वेन ग्रीन ही होती हैं और केवल लैमिना का बीच का पार्ट वो पीला पड़ता है, तो वो इंटरवेनल क्लोरोसिस होती है. और अगर ऐसा है कि इंटरवेनल क्लोरोसिस है तो इट इज मैग्नीशियम, एंड इफ इट इज अ कंप्लीट येलोइंग सो नाइट्रोजन, एंड फॉस्फोरस इज लिटिल पर्पल कलर और रेडिश कलर का सिम्टम आता है जो कि फॉस्फोरस का होता है. एंड इवन अगर आप देखिए यहाँ पे जो कैल्शियम एंड बोरॉन है टर्मिनल बड पे ही है, इनके भी अगर आप देखेंगे इनके उसमें भी सिम्टम में डिफरेंस है. एंड फर्स्ट लोकेशन देन स्पेसिफिक आप उसको कि क्या डेफिशिएंसी सिम्टम होता है। एंड इवन येलो वेन में सल्फर एंड कॉपर दोनों में डेफिशिएंसी सिम्टम यही होता है, बट आप फर्दर ड्रिल डाउन करोगे यू विल गेट दैट व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन दीज टू। सो एज अ ग्रोअर, while designing or calibrating your fertilizer recipe, you need to be tuck, which location, what type of symptom, what place, and what nutrient. So you have to tweak or modify your fertilizer recipe accordingly. These are some basic symptoms. So maybe I'll share this fertilizer, the whole presentation, and you can get that. Detailing it out is little difficult, because if you see like molybdenum and potassium is very clearly the dead necrosis part, yellow, and then green parts. And it always starts from the edges of the leaf. So this is potassium or the dead spot. But if it is a molybdenum, it's irregular spots on the leaf. So these are the two different symptoms for necrosis or a dead spot symptom. Intervennal chlorosis, if you see like, so this is something like iron and manganese. Iron is something kind of, if you see, one is only primary veins are green, another is the secondary veins are also green. So that's a symptom you can see. So chlorosis is complete yellowing of leaf. And if you see like boron and calcium, so it is always boron and calcium. It is a boron, means something like a black heart of cauliflower, and this type of symptoms you can easily recognize for the calcium and boron. So one more thing is, maybe I can take the question that two guys were raised their hand. Just go ahead. Yeah, Rupali, go ahead.
सर आपने अभी कुछ देर पहले वो जो फर्टिलाइजर रेसिपी की शीट्स शेयर करी थी, जो 2 शीट्स, वो सर अगर हमें प्रिपेयर करने, अगर मुझे पूरा डेटा चाहिए अपने पूरा हाइड्रोपोनिकली जो ग्रो है, वो मुझे पूरा बनाना पड़ेगा, मतलब MS एक्सेल पे जैसा आपने बनाया है, या
वो बनी बनाई शीट है पूरी? ओनली थिंग इज कि आपका पानी कितना जरूरत पड़ रहा है, क्या टारगेट ईसी कर रहे हैं, उस पे फिर आपको फर्टिलाइजर की क्वांटिटी प्लस माइनस करोगे तो आपकी पूरी रेसिपी शीट बन जाएगी. दैट इज ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल टूल व्हिच वी डिजाइन्ड.
ओके, इट्स मतलब इट्स ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल.
Yeah, you didn't need to go for designing the whole recipe. Okay, the fertilizer की जो sheet है वो एक्सेल पूरी नहीं बनानी है आपको, वो बनी बनाई है. केवल आपको पानी का क्वांटिटी डालना है, आपको टारगेट ईसी डालना है और फर्टिलाइजर की क्वांटिटी को प्लस माइनस करना है. Rest all work is going to be done by the seed and the formula linked with the seed. Okay.
तो सर ये लिंक कहाँ से मिलेगा हमें, लाइक हम कहाँ से एक्सेस कर सकते हैं ये?
I'll share that, no issue.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Please your minds. Yeah, Sonu Kushwaha, go ahead. Sonu, can you hear me?
गुड इवनिंग सर.
गुड इवनिंग सोनू, बताइए.
सर जैसे सर प्रैक्टिकल एक चीज पे हम करने चाह रहे हैं सर, जैसे जो फ्लोटिंग वाटर होता है रिवर में, सर उस पे सर जैसे हम फ्लोट पे कुछ करके सर लगा के सर ग्लास में उसमें राइस लगा के रखे सर, हो जाएगा वो, सक्सेस हो पाएगा कैसे? देखो
पानी जो भी होता है, इफ पानी अगर रुका हुआ है
या सर बेहतर सर उसको रोकने की ये है कि सर साइड में किनारे एक जगह बांध ले, उसको एक जगह टैगिंग कर लेंगे, रख लेंगे बांध के, ताकि वो रुका रहे.
नहीं समझ आया, फिर से बताओ.
अरे सर उसको सर ये बोलना है कि बांध के जैसे रस्सी से सर उसको बांध के एक जगह उसको रख लेंगे ताकि वो फ्लोट ना हो, दूसरी जगह ना जाए, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह बह के.
यू आर सेइंग कि गंगा नदी में डंडी बांध के उस पे धान का पौधा लगा दें तो हो जाएगा कि नहीं हो जाएगा?
यस सर, या किसी भी चीज का सर.
हाँ, किसी भी चीज का हो जाएगा, बट ये बताओ ना उसमें फर्टिलाइजर कैसे डालोगे?
सर स्प्रे करके.
स्प्रे से कितना मिलेगा भाई? 99% ऑफ द टोटल फूड इज बीइंग एब्जॉर्ब बाय द रूट. एंड नदी में आप अगर फर्टिलाइजर डालने गए तो मतलब गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का भाट्टा बैठा दोगे यार. ऑलरेडी समथिंग लाइक $1 million इज बीइंग स्पेंड ऑन.
सर FYM डाल के सर, जैसे उसको ग्लास में रख रहे हैं तो FYM डाल लें अपना.
देखो अगर
मैंने
आप ग्लास में डाल के घर पे करना चाह रहे हैं तो बस सिंपल, वेरी सिंपल थिंग कि आपका पानी कभी स्टैंड स्टिल ना हो, वो सर्कुलेशन में रहे, तब आपका उसमें हो सकता है। अदरवाइज अगर पानी रुका तो उसमें फिर आपका सड़ने गलने का पॉसिबिलिटी बढ़ जाता है। ठीक है, ओके। सो देयर वाज सम क्वेश्चन अराउंड कि भाई हम ये यूरिया या अमाइड फर्टिलाइजर क्यों नहीं यूज कर सकते। तो ये आपके सवाल का जवाब देने जा रहा है। यूरिया का अगर आप फॉर्मूला देखो तो ये यूरिया होता है, दिस इज अमाइड NH2CO NH2, और ये मिट्टी में जैसे ही जाता है और हमारी मिट्टी में यूरियज एंजाइम माइक्रोब उसको प्रोड्यूस करता है। यूरियज एंजाइम बहुत, मतलब it is plenty of urease enzyme is present in your soil. So जैसे ही यूरिया का मॉलिक्यूल यूरियज एंजाइम के कांटेक्ट में आता है, वो आपका हाइड्रोलिसिस का प्रोसेस शुरू कर देता है। एंड यू नो, यूरिया इज एन ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड and one of the most stable compound. Okay, if urea is not getting in contact with the urease enzyme, it will be as it is for even 25 years or 30 years down the line. Okay, but the moment it reaches to soil, the urease enzyme, they act on urea and they convert urea into ammonia. And that is the stage, because ammonia is unstable and it's a gaseous form. So that leaches out, means not leaches out, volatilization loss hota hai urea ka, and that's how urea efficiency is lower, and ammonia gas is just lost as a volatilization loss. Because ammonia gas is unstable, it again react with the hydrogen and it convert into ammonium ion. So ammonical form of nitrogen is available for your plant. So if this whole process is something completed where the urease enzyme is present and hydrogen is present, so urea is converted into ammonium ion, which is available form, and it is going to be absorbed by the plant. Okay, so this is the first stage of hydrolysis. If you move further, then there is a nitrosomonas bacteria which react with ammonia and develop nitrite. Okay, and you know, it's an intermediate product of this hydrolysis, and this is one of the most culprit kind of element, because of which urea is not recommended for hydroponic growing system. Because if the nitrite level in your nutrient solution, the ppm level raises to beyond 50 ppm, it is a toxic to your plant, even it burns the root. Okay, that's how it is not recommended to use urea in hydroponic. That is the one thing. Means second thing is, in our solution, in our water, RO water, there will not be any urease enzyme, there will not be any kind of a microbes, and further nitrite, means nitrobacter acts on nitrite and convert finally it into a nitrate. So why? Because these microbes are not present or even allowed to be grown in hydroponic growing system, and if these are not there, urea will either partially hydrolyze or it will means be present as it is in your solution, and it is a mere wastage of your money in terms of urea. So that's how it is not at all recommended, or any hydroponic grower should use urea as a source of nitrogen. So what is the source of nitrogen? Calcium nitrate is where ammonical nitrogen and nitrate nitrogen both are there. in this water soluble fertilizer, 1818 is one of the source where ammonical and nitrate source are there for supplying 18% of a nitrogen. So 18 is recommended for hydroponic kind of a growing system. Potassium nitrate is another source of nitrogen, and monoammonium phosphate is another source of nitrogen. So these are some of the water soluble fertilizers which you can use in hydroponic for supplying your nitrogen. Okay. I don't see like I have a sufficient time for doing the hands-on. So let me just regarding that sheet, you can just visit this website. You will get that. I will do one thing. I'll just show you that how this sheet is in another 5 minutes. I'll just show you that how this sheet is working. Okay, so stop sharing. Let me open that sheet here. Okay, again, share my screen and see here. It's okay. Yeah. So I think you can see this Excel sheet on or this tool of fertilizer designing. Can you see that? No response. So I'm sure that you guys can see this fertilizer recipe sheet on your screen.
It's visible. It's visible.
Okay. Okay. Now see, as a grower, what you need to do, you have to just change this water quantity. Suppose your water quantity or tank or water requirement for your crop is 1500 liters per day. So I have just changed the 1500 liter. You can now see rest everything is changed by itself. I'll just do the Control Z and you can see. See, except the ratio, because I have changed the water quantity. Your EC, just see here, the EC. It will, from 1.5, it reaches to 1.99. Okay. And suppose you need to maintain 1.5, then you have to reduce your quantity of fertilizer, like 1600 calcium nitrate. Still is a little higher ammonical farm. So let me reduce 20 as a ammonical farm of nitrogen, a little more, 300. Okay, 1.7. See, every change is bringing down or up the fertilizer, the electrical conductivity. Even 200, let's see how it is. 1.65 it reaches. So maybe I can do further. 160, 1.62 it is there. And also you have to see here, the ratio is changing. It is now towards on vegetative parts. Okay, so vegetative stage recipe is need to have a higher nitrogen content. So 280, let's see. Yeah, it's okay. So 1.6. 270. Okay. Yeah. Now see, the moment I bring down further the ammonical form of nitrogen, your red flag is on here. So either you have to reduce the nitrate content, which is in the form of potassium nitrate or maybe calcium nitrate. So let me do is a 150, 130. Okay, and 1500. Yeah, now see, your further again, and now your EC is almost matching. So 0.01 you need to bring down. So 125. Let me see if I could achieve. Yeah. Now you can see you have achieved that targeted one. Just changing the water, you have bring down the quantity of fertilizer. And if you go here, based on your working, this sheet is updated because it's already formula driven linked. So you can get the quantity of nitrogen is this much of a gram. So this is something like a quantity, you know. And the third sheet is the report. So you can just hand over this printout to your worker that, okay, go and measure this quantity and bring in that container so you can mix it. And also the same sheet is having the deficiency symptom, what we talked about. Okay. So this is a very handy tool, simple tool, nothing, something like a hassle. You only play with this. And one more thing, what I've shared is, if you put all the rates in kg, suppose you are procuring MAP, whatever the rate is here per kg, you put here. This value is already being taken from the first sheet. So you need not to do anything here, only the price at what you bought the fertilizer from the market. You put there, it will automatically estimate your daily fertilizer recipe cost. Okay. So this is something like kind of a tool which is a user friendly, and you can use whenever you want. You can play whatever you want to play, whatever the ratio, whatever this. Only thing is you have to just play around with your fertilizer, the quantity of different fertilizers, different sources. And you can also see that what is the nitrogen sources, what is the phosphorus sources, what is potash, what is, so all the information is here, and based on that you can design your own fertilizer recipe. So now I'm stopping here. I have a few more minutes for taking questions. So yeah, floor is open for any kind of a question.
Thank you so much, sir. This was an insightful lecture, very much helpful. I'm sure it would have helped everybody who are already in this profession, working on this, and those who are thinking to start.
Yeah.
As you can see, there are no more questions in the chat box.
Yeah, no issue.
There is one, sir.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm sharing this to Shivani Goel. Can I share with everybody the link? Meeting chat group is okay. Yeah. So this is the link where you can find out this recipe sheet. Okay. Hey, you are on mute, so we are not able to hear you. You have to unmute yourself. Yeah, you have to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Can
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
guys see me? Oh,
Yeah,
great.
I can see you. Long
Great,
back,
great,
I've been in
great.
Nairobi for something like a week time. It was really a good experience there. Yeah, go ahead.
Great. Good to join you guys. Good to join you guys this afternoon or morning. I don't know what time. Okay, I think
It's the
evening over
evening,
there.
evening here in India. Evening here in
It's afternoon. Yeah, good to join you guys this afternoon, this evening. My name is Kenneth Obayu, and I'm into agricultural space. I don't want to assume that a lot of people know me here, so just give me like 2 minutes. Let me quickly introduce myself and what I do. I'm into agricultural space and architect, more focused into architect space. I happen to be the national director of the International Association of Agricultural Students and Other Related Sciences, the UK chapter. I also happen to be the founder and CEO of Architect Digest, a media company that focuses on latest information around the architect space. I am a principal consultant in Africa Accelerate Global Consulting in the UK. I'm also happens to host a show called Architect Founders Diary, where I invite architect founders on YouTube and LinkedIn every Friday by 5 p.m. to kind of share their experience with us, what they've been through, challenges they face, why they build their businesses, you know. So I run that every Friday. I host that show every Friday. And then I also write on LinkedIn every Monday where I talk about the future of agriculture and actually related to architect founders every Friday on LinkedIn. So that's pretty what I do as a person, and I'm excited to be here today. But it's so unfortunate that today I don't have slides, but I've taken some notes of what I'll be sharing. I promise you guys it's going to be an amazing time. Just give me a minute, sorry. Give me a minute, let me put this up. Okay. So I'll be sharing what I titled. I'll be sharing what I titled. Give me a second, sorry.
Hey, you put yourself on a mute. You put on yourself on a mute. Okay. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Kenneth Obayama is our next speaker, actually. He's going to deliver the next session.
Okay.
I was about to introduce him also. Mr.
Okay.
Kenneth Obayama, please allow us to introduce you to our participants.
Okay, do that, no problem.
So for the next session, as you see, I would like to invite Mr. Kenneth Bayuwana. Mr. Kenneth Bayuwana is a creative thinker, global thought leader, business strategist, a certified management consultant, and a dynamic global speaker with practical ways to help people become a better version of themselves. His passion is to use agriculture to end hunger, create wealth and jobs, and drive equitable economic growth in Africa to lift millions out of their poverty. He passionately seeks the mental awakening and values the orientation of young people. He is the managing director, services, Agri-Accelerate Global Counseling, a consulting firm that offers consulting services to agri-businesses looking to expand their operations globally. He is the managing director, AgriTech Digest, a leading media company dedicated to providing insightful and comprehensive coverage of the latest developments, trends, and innovations in the agricultural technology sector, empowering farmers and industry professionals with valuable knowledge and resources. He is also the host, AgriTech Founders Daily, a show where successful agri-tech entrepreneurs and senior operators participate in a 30 to 60-minute live interviews where they discuss their experiences, their adventures, their philosophy, the challenges they overcame, and the lessons they discovered along the way, and provide insights into the products and business they are currently building. He is the executive director of Positive Impact Africa, an ideal development and performance enhancement organization with a mission to raise youth who will stand to make a difference and produce a positive result in their endeavors, and with the mandate to maximize the potential of youth and utilize it for them. He is the immediate past MD, Bristow Bags Farm Limited, an agro processing company, producer of Baxter dried catfish and Baxter Fufu flour. He is a member of the board of directors of Africa TV, which is a TV media set to showcase the value of Africa. He is a member of Boardroom Institute and a fellow of African Young Leaders Fellowship Program. Sir won Entrepreneur of the Year, Class of Elite 2019 from Benson, Idaho State University. He also won the Young Entrepreneurship of the Year 2019 from the Entrepreneur Africa. He has also won an Outstanding Leadership Award from Benson, Idaho State University. In 2020, he became an award nominee under the agriculture category of SME 100, Africa's 25 under 25 Nigeria's enterprising youth, while his brand was recognized by Social Good Awards Africa. He has been featured on entrepreneurship blogs and online articles as a fast-rising entrepreneur in Nigeria. He is an award nominee under the agriculture category of Africa Youth Award, and he was also nominated as Entrepreneur of the Year by All Varieties Award. In 2021, he was nominated as Agripreneur of the Year by Founders of the Year Africa, and in the same year, he won category of Agriculture Award by Nigeria Achievers Award. In 2023, he was awarded the Certificate of Excellence in Educational Engagement by the Office of Pro Chancellor of Royal Agricultural University. He is an ambassador to the Next Gen Agriculture Impact Network, NGIN. He is also one of the immediate past ambassadors to a UK-based organization called There's World. He is the convener of Africa Farmers Convention, one of the largest agro conferences. He is the Executive Director, Africa Chambers of Smallholders Farmers, Executive Director. Sir holds a bachelor degree in agricultural economics from the prestigious Benson Idahosa University, and furthermore, he has got his mini executive MBA in leadership and management from prestigious Accra Business School. He is currently pursuing his master's degree program in sustainable agriculture and food security in Royal Agricultural University, United Kingdom. An alumni of Faith Foundation, he is also an alumni of Enterprise Development Center, Pan Africa University. He has been featured on several TV stations such as Rave TV, BBC, On Radio, and several podcasts and blogs to come speak on issues around agriculture and agribusinesses. He is a self-development enthusiast, a conference speaker, and a writer. Off to sir, you can start.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Sir, kindly unmute yourself, sir. Kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Can you guys hear me? Think.
Yes, you're
Can
on.
everybody hear me? Am I fine? So I was saying that when we say agriculture, or what do we mean? A lot of people are leaving the agricultural sector or they are leaving farming because they think it's a old-fashioned industry. No, agriculture is not the old-fashioned industry. So there is a projection that in the year 2050, we're going to be having over 9 billion people in the world. So that is to say, these 9 billion people, they need people to feed them. They need food to eat. So there is a more call for a lot of people to come to the agricultural space. And now, listen, when we say come to the agricultural space, we're not saying come into farming. There's a difference between farming, traditional farming, and the agripreneur. Agripreneur is when you bring in the agri business into farming. That's the best I can explain it, you know. So agripreneur is when you bring in the spirit of entrepreneurship into farming. It's not a regular or a traditional farm way. So there's more money in agripreneur, and there's so much potential in the agripreneur space that is yet to be tapped. So in my conversation today, I'm going to try as much as possible to open your eyes to so many opportunities in the agripreneur space that you can tap and leverage on to make money and create jobs opportunities for people. Because ahead of us is 9 billion people that we are expecting in 2050, and we need to start. There's need to also start having the conversation to prepare for those people, because of course they're going to be here, and they need to eat. So, and there's also a saying by the economy that there are 3 sectors that are really critical when it comes to food, right? 3 sectors is really critical. And what sectors are that? One is shelter. So people need where to sleep. So there's more money in that sector. I'm not talking about there. Then the next sector is the next place to look at is clothes. People or fashion. People want to wear clothes. So we are talking about having 9 billion people in year 2050. So that's the high figure, or that's the high number. And then those people need to they need where to sleep, they need what to wear. But among that, the most important of them is what to eat. You understand? Because if you don't eat, you will die. So there's need for us to start having conversation around the agripreneurship space. And this is not, like I said, this is not your regular farming. All right. So I will define what agripreneurship is, and let me talk about some of the significant aspects of it. Number one advantage of agripreneur is that one of the key importance of it is that there's opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity in the space of in the entrepreneurship space. Number 2 is that the job opportunities, the job creation is massive. The entrepreneurship sector when I'm using the word entrepreneurship and not farming because I've differentiated both of them. So that entrepreneurship sector, the entrepreneurship space, has a large number of a large is a large industry that has a large opportunity to accommodate a lot of people, to employ a lot of people, and our government knows it. But I don't know about Indians, but I know about a lot of governments. They are not investing into this space because sometimes is a long uh, is a long term industry. It's not a quick fast place to make money. Like you invest in it today, and in the next moment you are making billions of naira out of it already. No. So because of that, a lot of governments will think, oh, if I invest in agripreneur now, maybe after 4 years. The next government will take over because I mean countries, especially countries that works in democracy, and the next government will be coming over. So in my place, so I'm looking at my sector, my own place, which is Nigeria. So or Africa generally. So like, why would I invest in something that I won't don't put my name to it? So a lot of government doesn't want to look at it. But I tell you the truth, the industry has capacity to create job opportunity for people. So if government, if investors start considering investing in the entrepreneurship space, there's a lot of potential to employ people. It's massive job opportunities for people. We'll look at that in a second. And then the next thing I want to say again is the next significant aspect of the industry is that beyond it being lucrative, is also, of course, it's capital intensive. Yes, it requires some funding to invest in it. But I'm also going to touch about how we can quickly raise funds around it too. Okay, I will mention that the next thing I want to look again is what is the now the next thing I want to look about again is what is the market strength. There is saying that in the US, the largest industry that employs people more is the agricultural industry. This is the industry in the US, in the UK. This is the largest in these two countries. There's a statistic that said, I think in the UK it's over 23%. I can't recall now, but there's a large, is one of the highest industry that has ability to employ people. So the market trend is a massive market trend. Now, let me look at some potential industry or potential opportunities in the agricultural space. Number one, do you know that there's more money in processing than farming than our regular farming? So number one opportunity in the agricultural space that you should start considering is processing food. I wish I can grab one or two processing package. I will do that, don't worry, so I can be able to demonstrate properly what I'm saying. Processing. People especially if you want to go global what you are doing, you have to package it neatly, process the food into something really nice and attractive, package it, and the next market you should also look at again is export. First is processing, the next is export. So they kind of go in hand in hand. You can't export your produce if it's not well packaged. So you need to consider packaging your produce very well. A lot of people want to be eating along as they're going. They don't have time. So I look at something like the first world country like the UK and the US and the Canada. Those guys don't have time. So can you start thinking of how do I process what I'm currently producing? How do I process it so that it can have a long shelf life? You can store it for a longer time, and then you can also export it. You see how massive that is. So processing is a very key aspect of you should start considering as an entrepreneur. Exporting is another opportunity you should start looking at. First, processing within the Indians. I mean, within your country there, you can process and be selling. That's a massive market already for you. Then the next thing you have to do is considering exporting. Let the world have a taste of what you are doing. I'm going to grab some processing products around me here to show you example of what I'm saying. Just give me a second. Sorry, give me a second. Okay. All right. So these are products. These are now. Look at this. What's stopping you as an entrepreneur to process your produce into something like this? Process it like this, package it neatly, and export. That's another massive market for you as an entrepreneur who is coming to the industry or who is already into the industry. So what's up? There's a lot of things you can process. I'm not really conservative with your food, but you can process your rice. So as today, we can what's up to have an instant rice, like instant noodles. I think you guys have instant noodles, where if in less than 5 minutes the rice is ready. What's happening to process? And another thing you have to also look at again as an agripreneur. You know, an agripreneur is a business, is somebody who has business mindset. An agripreneur is somebody who has business mindset. It's not a farmer, it's not a regular farmer. No, an entrepreneur is somebody who has business mindset, who is business oriented, who is thinking on how do I make money. So I'm going to share some of my own story. Okay, this is on that package. I think this is on that package. Now I'm going to tell you my own story. Years ago, as a student who studied agricultural economics in school, I wanted to go into the agricultural space. I was looking for money. So the first thing I did was when I touched on, I'm going to bring this story again, was that I first went into fashion. So I created a boutique. I was selling clothes. Now the idea was not to sell clothes or to go into fashion industry, but as a way of quickly raising some funds and investing in my business, right? In my agricultural business. So the first agricultural business I went to was farming. Catfish farming. I don't know if you know catfish. So I went to catfish. I didn't know that catfish were carnivorous animal. So they eat themselves. So and if you don't feed them adequately enough, they'll start eating themselves. So I didn't know about that. Nobody told me about that. So I went into that industry. And when I was in that industry, I realized that I had not enough fund to feed them, and they were eating themselves. So that means I could not feed them enough. So for the catfish industry, we step by kg. So I didn't feed them enough. So they started eating themselves. And the point of start selling, they were underpricing them because I didn't feed them to the adequate capacity for them to eat 1 kg. So I was running at loss. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I move into processing. I started drying them. I would dry my catfish, I'll package, and I'll sell them. So that was the first place where I went to. Of course, I was able to raise funding from grants, from investors and others too, to pump into the business. And then I will try exporting them too. Then the next thing I went into, that was my first experience in the agricultural space. I don't know if you know cassava in India, but in Nigeria or in Africa, we are very used to cassava. Or the Brazil guys also eat cassava a lot too. So I went to cassava farm, cassava planting. So I went to those farms. At the time, I was also selling to the market women. They were underpricing it, considering my labor. So I said, no, I won't deal with this. So what did I do? I went to processing. I processed my cassava to cassava flour. And I packaged it very well packaged. And I started selling for supermarkets, for shopping malls. And I was able to raise back the money I spent in the farm. I understand that processing is not easy. It requires some money, but you can start in your own little kitchen and be selling and start making your money from there. So just after my experience, I realized that the processing guys make more money than the regular farmers. So there's more money in processing than your regular farming. There's more money in processing than your regular farming. Farmers will burn their hands, buy chemicals, buy fertilizers, do a lot of things. But yet, these guys will come buy your produce from you in a very little amount of money, refine it, and start making money out of it. The same thing is happening to Africa right now. So take for example from the Africa. I'm sorry, I'm an African guy. So take an example of an African guy from the Africa. Ghanaians they are the largest. Ghana and Uganda, I think, they are the highest producer of cocoa. They produce cocoa. So if you eat chocolate, that is the Ghanaian product. You are eating the Ghanaian products. But you see what the white men do, or what the USA guys do, they'll buy this cocoa from us, process it into chocolate, and then send back to Africa to sell to us in Africa. Because they also realize that there's more money in processing. There's another product again that is being gotten from Africa. It's called kola nut. So kola nut is being produced is largely produced by, I think, Uganda. I can't recall the African country that is the largest producer of kola nuts. Kola nut is what they use in processing your Coke or Pepsi. If you drink Coke or Pepsi, that's kola nut products. So there's more money in processing than your regular farming. Let me look process. I've talked processing for a long. I've talked about exporting. So exporting, these guys don't understand exporting. So they buy these products from us, they process it, and they send back to us. Or they send to different countries and make their money. Export is another massive market. And you know what? We can be in the export market without you even processing. You can be in the export space without you even processing. You are not processing. So what you are just doing is that you are buying produce from people who have already processed. They package. You don't just need to do is change your package. You package it into something into your own brand, and then you can export. Export is a massive market. There's massive market for export. For example, now in the UK, we have a lot of Indians in the UK. Massive numbers of people, massive migrants in the UK, as last year was said, was Indians. So what is that? You can start thinking as an entrepreneur, what is that thing that you consume very high in India that you can package and export to them in the Indian guys in the UK or in the US and start earning in dollar? What is stopping you from, what is that product that you guys consume very much in India that you can package and sell to them and export to them in the UK or in the US and start making your dollars or your pounds? So as an entrepreneur, this is how entrepreneurs begin to think, right? This is how you begin to think as an entrepreneur. Then look at other aspect of it again. You should look at is the logistics. There's massive market in the logistics. There's a massive space there in the logistics. A lot of farmers, they have problems exporting their produce from the market to the from farm to market. And you see that space for us. And you start thinking of how can you fill that space for us as an entrepreneur? How can you fill the space of logistics for us? Farmers have problem of logistics, exporting their transporting their produce from the farm to the market. Can you fill that space for us? That's another massive opportunity that you should start considering as an entrepreneur. Logistics space is another massive space. Storage. We produce some of our produce like tomatoes, bell pepper, habanero pepper. This produce goes before they get to the market at some point. The value reduces because at some point they begin to depreciate because those processes, those produce, they don't stay for long. They don't stay for long. So because they don't stay for long, they spoil very fast, right? There are a lot of products like that. You start thinking of storage facilities for. I mean, I know of a storage facility in Nigeria called Kodops. I also know of another one in in Kenya. Can you start thinking of storage facility? How can you, as an entrepreneur, come into the storage facility and help us with store our produce? Is there a way that you, as an entrepreneur listening to me now, is there a way you can fit in storage facilities to transportation? Is there a way you can bring in? I'll talk about technology, but let me measure this here. Is there a way you can fit in storage and transportation so that our produce from the market from farm to the market does not get bad? Is there a way you can fix that problem for us? That's a massive opportunity there. And as an entrepreneur, your work as an entrepreneur is to fix problems. So what you need to do as an entrepreneur is to start thinking of problems to fix. What's problem to fix? So my work tonight my work this evening is to show you some problems, some loopholes that you as an entrepreneur can fix for us. Can you start thinking of ways that you can fix some of all these things? These are massive opportunities, massive problems that a lot of us as farmers are facing in the rural area. So can you, as an entrepreneur, come into the space and fix those things for us? So start thinking of those things. Then let me come back to the farmers. There's a lot of problems the farmers are facing. The farmers don't know how to test their soil. They don't know how to, having issues with water. Is there a way you can come up with some solutions to these problems for us? These are massive problems that we face. We have water issues. So somebody that started thinking of irrigation, when we start having shortage of water, so somebody started thinking of irrigation for us. That okay, can we start irrigating instead of waiting for rainfall, looking at the climate change and all that? So somebody came up with innovations of irrigation system for farmers. Is there a way you can improve on this? So another way you can make money as an entrepreneur is if there's a problem to solve, if there's no problem, can you take already existing idea and improve on it? So I've just measured the irrigation system. Is there a way you can improve on the irrigation system for us that we can make it more better and faster for us? These are ways you can make money as an entrepreneur. But now let me shift into technology. Is there a way you can use technology to solve some of the
Sir, kindly unmute yourself. You are on mute, sir. Sir, you are on mute. Kindly unmute yourself.
guys hear me? All right. I think you guys can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
So is there a way that you can use technology to fix some of these problems for us? There's a massive problem there. There's a massive problem there. Now, I used to tell people that a lot of people are thinking farming for older people is not for this coming generation, it's not for Generation Z, Generation Y. They don't want to go into farming. So I'm advocating that they should come into the actual space, that there's a lot of problems to be fixed using technology. We can start leveraging on technology. So now technology, we are seeing the coming of AI, we are seeing the coming of blockchain, we are seeing the coming of AI, we are seeing the coming of blockchain technology, we are seeing the coming of IoT. So I've written a lot of about this technology and how we can leverage on them as an entrepreneur on my LinkedIn page. So, but let me say this. I visited in Netherlands recently, and I saw that in their farm, in some of their farm, it was a dairy farm, massive farm, but just 2 or 3 persons managing it. The rest of it is being done with AI. So what are they doing? They use AI technology, feed the cattle, clean the farm, so you don't perceive any smell. Do their making, so make the cattle, so the cattle know when to walk in and is their turn. Make it and package the entire process. I mean, everything is being done by AI. When we start looking at how we can leverage on technology to boost this industry, we are thinking of feeding 21. We are looking at feeding 9 billion people in the coming years. How can we do this without technology, especially with the shortage of workers? So there's need for us to start considering leveraging on technology as well. Can we start thinking of leveraging on technology? How do we use technology to change the space? How do we use technology to change the space? Can we also start thinking about that? So these are some of the potentials that we as an entrepreneur must start looking at, we must start considering if we must move forward, if we must move the industry forward, if there will be food for us to eat, we must start considering this. So again, before I move on to the before I move on, I want to retreat some of the space you can start considering for opportunities in the agricultural space. Number 1, I've talked about processing. Number 2, I've talked about export. Number 3, I've talked about logistics and transportation. Number 4, number 5 now, I've talked about storage facilities, considering going to storage facilities. I've talked about leveraging on technology. These are massive opportunities that we can start considering. Today I read an article on, I think this is more academia platform. So today I read something about on LinkedIn. A friend of mine posted something and said, can scientists come, of course, they're in the lab or doing research work, writing articles on journals. He was saying writing on journals or having a conference where scientists just speak is not enough. Can we take the forefront of beginning to speak out? It was like agri-tech or agricultural journalists, they don't have enough information, and they are also looking just for money. So they write just to attract their readers. Can the scientists start coming out? So I bring that in to say this. Can we start having scientists what you are researching, some of the work you are researching, can we also bring in the entrepreneurship mindset to some of our research and start pushing out some of those things out? Not just allow them to die in the lab or die in the research journals. Can we start pushing some of all those things to ensure they become they're not full-time business? Can we also, as a scientist, start thinking of collaborations with people who are business oriented and business mindset? Can we also start considering how can we collaborate with these people? You've done your research, you've seen some of the problems in the lab. Instead of just leaving it at the journal, is there a way you can start considering collaborating with business oriented people, having them as co-founders for a business whereby some of those ideas, some of those problems you've discovered in the lab, you are not the forefront working with a business-oriented person to fulfill it and see how you can raise a business or build a business that will solve some of those problems that you've discovered in the lab. Can we start having those kind of conversations, and can we start thinking of collaborating and partnering with business-oriented people as a scientist instead of just leaving some of these work in lab or journals? Let's start thinking of collaborations. Let's start thinking of partnership together and see how we can push this agenda beyond just having them beyond just having them in the lab. Can we start thinking of working together? All right. And then let me talk about can we also start thinking of building some apps that can help farmers? A lot of farmers have issues on funding. In the next few minutes, this is going to lead me to funding. I'm going to talk about funding a bit. All right. A lot of farmers have issues of farming. Can we start building apps that can assist them with banking, online banking? Farmers in the rural areas, some of them don't have accounts. Can we start thinking of how can we build mobile apps that can assist us take some of this banking system for the rural people in the villages? Can we start thinking of how to take some of these mobile apps to assist them with their finances in the rural area? That is a massive industry too. Myself and my team members are currently working on a research on why investors are more investors are investing in, because when you look at where investors are investing more, they invest more in fintech and edtech space. I think 5 or 6% is what they invest. As of last 2021, when I checked last, just 6% was invested in the tech space. Yes, that's another ongoing conversation. But can we start thinking of building an app like the fintech industry is doing? A app that will merge the fintech and the agriculture, help farmers in the rural space. That is another massive opportunities for us. My work tonight is just to show you certain opportunities that you can tap into as an agripreneur or agritech startup. Right? I hope you are learning something. Are we learning something, please? Are we learning something on this tonight? Okay. All right. Then let me also talk about funding. I understand that how do you raise funds for agritech businesses, considering how capital intensive it is? How do we start raising funds for agritech people in the agritech space? How do we start raising funds? Right. If my time is up, just let me know. If my time is almost up, just let me know so that I can keep track. Are we still together?
No, sir, you have
Just how many minutes more do I have, please?
You have 15 to 20 minutes, sir. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Now, let me talk about how to raise funds. People are having challenges in raising funds, and number one place for me, you cannot meet me as an investor, meet any investor and say invest in my business when you yourself has not invested in your business. So My belief is your first capital for your business must come from you. The first capital for your business must come from you. That makes me believe that you believe in what you are doing, you believe in your own idea, you believe in your own business. So your first capital is what you use to build your own MVP. That is what you should use to build your own MVP, right? So first, your first capital must come from you. Your second capital must come from your friends and loved ones, family, friends, and loved ones. So if you don't invest in yourself, how can an investor believe in you? So when you invest yourself, it's fine that you believe in yourself. So you see, I talked about I went into my own business, so I went to fast fashion to raise money that I can invest in the architect space. So can you start thinking of what can you do first? What can you do at the immediate? What can you sell? What can you do at the moment to be able to raise funds that you use in building your MVP to show people? So MVP is minimal viable products. So that's what you build to. So let me know if everybody knows MVP. So that's what you first product that you build to show that see what see this is what I'm about to build. This is what so it could just be a prototype. It's not the real thing, but to show to investors or show to people that this is what I'm trying to say to you people that if we do it, we will make massive change. So that's what MVP is. So and then why your first money is what you use, then the next place you consider to raise funding next is why not look for friends and family, loved ones. If your friends and family doesn't invest in you, who then will not invest? Can you also look into some of those things? And then can you consider the next option is grant? Yes, grant. I have a lot of on my architect founders. I've been able to interview a lot of architect founders from Indians, and they talked about how the government is funding them. How there's a lot of funding opportunities for them. Can you start considering? Can you start considering grants? Master has to raise funds from grants. I personally I've raised a lot of money from grants for my businesses in the past, and I'm still working on more to raise funds for my businesses through grants. Grants is a cheap money, it's a free money given by different organizations to support your business, and you don't pay back. You don't pay back. Grants are free money, and there's a lot of grants. I don't know, but you could check. There are some spots I used to check for grants. Opportunity Desk. I used to get a lot of grant opportunities from opportunitydesk.com. There is opportunity. Well, I have a lot of for Africans anyway, but there are some grants that is universal. So you can check Opportunity Desk. You can check Opportunity for Africa. You can check Opportunity Hub. There's Opportunity Hub where you get these guys keep updating grant opportunity that you can tap into, take advantage of, or Opportunity Desk, Opportunity or opportunityhub.com. You can also check if you think Innovate UK is another good place you can check, and I think they invest on global businesses. You can check EIT. They invest in agriculture and food industry. So there's a lot of grants that you can get from these places. Start trying your hands in those grants. They are free money. Free money that you can just tap and invest in your businesses. Facebook and Google, they have their own programs where they kind of invest in businesses, but most times those places I mentioned that you get to be aware of them, right? Then moving on from beyond grants, venture capitalists. Venture capitalists are firms that invest in your business. Venture capitalists, these are firms that invest massively in your business. Of course, but for venture capitalists, they kind of take percentage from your business. They take a stake from the business. Unlike grants, so grants is free money. But for venture capitalists, they take a stake. They can take 5%, 10%, they take percent from the business. Then there's an angel investor. So angel investor is just an individual who invests in your businesses. Of course, he or she takes his own equity from the business. They take equity from the business, angel investors. And I basically my only challenge right now is because I'm speaking to, I think the audience I'm speaking to, they are more of Indians, right? So I might not be able to spotlight where to get funding, where to connect with them, but check V4C. I think V4C is a global platform. V4C. V4C is a global platform where you get to meet with venture capitalists, right? You get to meet with angel investors. V4C is one global platform you can raise funds from. Then beyond V4C, you can also look at for other ways you can raise grants money. Again, is business competition. Business competition is another place you can also consider to raise money. Then beyond that, you can also start looking at I've talked about angel investor. Then you can also start looking at can you start also looking at bootstrapping? Can you bootstrap in the business? Bootstrapping is another thing if you look at for. We are quick to say we don't have money. My business, I have this idea, but I need funding as well. I don't have funding. Can you also start thinking of how do I bootstrap? I know of a lady who came from the US. He came to Nigeria to invest. Started what we call, Hello Joss, I think. Tomatoes Joss. So he raised a campaign that the tomatoes were going to waste, and then he was able to raise funds, and he came to Nigeria and pumped the money into the space, and was able to raise money from grants and investors, and started that business. But the idea that before he started raising funds, his person was he started thinking of how can she bootstrap his way, and he started thinking of bootstrapping. Right, bootstrapping is a way of how can I what you don't pay actually. It's not like you're getting funding, but you could be saying, okay, do this for me. Can you start thinking of bootstrapping for your business? And you can start thinking of bootstrapping for your business, right? And then moving on beyond bootstrapping for your business. Let me also talk about some better key you need. I've talked about some of all these places you can make money. Then loan. I don't really advise loan because you're a startup, and loan government bank will take some commission. You have to pay interest rates, sorry, back to bank, and so loan is the last option for me to raise funds as an agri startup. Loan is the lowest form for me, but can you also consider loan? Can you build your business and walk into that bank and talk to them that you want some loan? But loan for me is the last option that any early startup should consider. So as an early startup, consider grants, majorly focus your energy into grants and friends and family. Those are massive places you should consider raising money from. Then, but beyond grants, you can look at for other options. So why venture capitalists and agent investors are also good is that they take equity, so they kind of also invest in it to make sure the business succeeds. Some of them comes with mentorship to mentor you and all that. What's beyond that, you can also vie for loan. Visit some of these banks and get a loan. But what do you need to access some of these funds? Number one, business plan. You need a business plan. For you to talk with any investor, you need to have a business plan. You need to have a business plan, right? You need to have your business plan. You need to have a pitch deck. You need to be good in storytelling. I've raised money before, so you need to be good in storytelling. These are some things you need to have, some skills or some documents you need to have. Okay, let me talk about document. Let me not mix them together. So you need to have your one-page document. So your one-page document is like an appetizer to attract investors because they don't have time. Then you need to have your business plan. So your business plan is a detailed report of your business. What's the it covers your financial forecast, it covers your market entry, your market penetration, the what's the size of the market you're about to go into, is a whole document. Then your pitch deck is a very short slide that is in a presentation format that you can use to pitch to investors, right? And then you need to have your elevator pitch. Elevator pitch is if you have to meet if you have to meet Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg on an elevator in 1 minute, what do you tell them about your business that will make them invest in your business? So that's what elevator pitch is. You need to have it handy, practice it, keep it with you, master it. Then you need to be able to I'm talking about pitch deck and business plan. Those are really critical documents you need to have in place to be able to raise funds from some of all these people. All right. And then moving on, what are some of these skills you need to have? You need to be good in storytelling. I raised over £16,000 for my education through GoFundMe. How did I do it? I was good in storytelling. I'm a very good storyteller, right? So as an entrepreneur, you need to have that. These are some skills you need to have. You need to have ability to tell stories, ability to create your story properly and push it to investors. Ability to craft a very good story. So your story could be you saw how people were suffering in your community in India, and you that push you to go start your own business to be able to solve the level of suffering in India and in that particular community, and you were able to build your prototype. I think that's how to tell stories that investors will hear like, wow, I just need to invest in this to be able to solve this problem. All right. So ability to do that, you need it. Resilience is another key. You need to build you need to have a resilient spirit. That spirit of not quitting. That spirit of not quitting, of not giving up, of not quitting. Because at some times in business, we can fail in business as many times as it can. We can fail in business, but you need to always have that ability to bounce back, as always, ability to bounce back, ability to not quit, ability to keep pushing. So you need that resilience, you need determination, you need to be determined. It's not rosy, it's not easy. Raising funds for your businesses is not easy. What I've been able to do tonight is to touch some of all these points, but raising funds is not easy. You also need to have the skills of fear of ability to build up ability of rejection, because at some point when you apply for grants, you can get rejected. That does not mean you should give up. That does not mean you should quit. Keep applying. There was a time in my life, every month I win grants. Every month. But before I got to that stage in my life, that every month I was winning grants. I've even up to now still receive rejections at some point. But you must build. Okay.
Okay. Request that we are running short on time. No, yeah, we are running short on time. If you could please bind up.
Okay. Let me wrap up. So it's been an amazing time. I believe you guys have gotten some value, some of the things I've shared. My biggest joy is to come on platforms like this and teach on entrepreneurship. I really love to see people taking massive, taking some of the things I've shared into action. Don't just come and hear, take some actions. But before I go quickly, in the next 5 minutes, let me wrap up with some organizations that are doing some amazing work. So we've seen Hello Tractor. What the Hello Tractor introduced to us? They introduced an app just like the Uber app, where you can order for tractor in your locality. It was a Kenyan man who went to school in the US and saw the opportunity that there was opportunity to use a tractor. That is an amazing opportunity. I've talked about I have other ones that connect a app that connects veterinary doctors to to the owners. Can we start thinking of things like that? then there's so much different apps that are helping farmers today. Can we start thinking of how to build an app that can help farmers? So this will be, it's on this note, I will just wrap up. If there's questions, let me take some few questions. I'll be glad to take your questions. If there's anything I've said that you need me to throw more light on, I'll be glad. Maybe I think I still have like 3 minutes. Let me quickly take some questions and then clarify some things. I believe you guys have gotten some value from my session this evening. Any question for me, guys? Any questions for me? Okay, there's a question. Somebody's raising his hand, I think.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing so much knowledge and so much
Thank you,
insight
Arvin.
on multitude of topics in short amount of time.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
No problem.
I think somebody's raising his hand, their hand. I'm seeing a hand being raised. I don't know. Maybe he has a question or something.
Hello, my dear friend Jai Shri Ram. I'm from Gujarat.
Okay.
My name is Shivam.
Okay, Jen.
I'm very
Okay.
impressed by you. I want one information from you.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to become a volunteer at FAU just like you. So what can I step?
Okay. Okay, that's a very fantastic one. FAO, to volunteer for FAO, there's a period where they open volunteer opportunities for FAO. I think it's usually between September, watch out, within September, October, they're going to open volunteer, or November, just watch out between this space, September, October, November, there's going to be an opening for volunteer and internship. So, but the idea is to recruit for 2024. Watch out for it. You can apply, but most of their work is around policy. It's not their work is around policy. You also, if you're interested in working around policy, so yes, FAO is a very good place. So watch out for the opening. They'll be opening very soon. Between September to November, that space there will be an opening. If you DM me, I'll watch out for it for you. Once it's open, I'll send it to you. But beyond that, again, another thing you can also look at for beyond. You can visit their website for internship. You can apply for internship. It's a 3 years program, but you have to. I think right now you have to fly to Rome, stay in Rome, and then you can't do anything that 3 years. You're strictly working for them in that space of 3 years. That's their internship. Then beyond that internship, they are also currently doing some having where they open World Food Forum in chapters in different communities. I think they already have an Indian, but if they don't have an Indian, I could link you up with someone, depending on your locality. They don't have in your locality yet, I don't know. But there's another way you can also engage with FAO through the World Food Forum chapters in different localities. So they're trying to open down so different people can come on board and have opportunity to have their voice being heard at the FAO. Yeah.
Okay, can I get your contact numbers or mail ID to get in your touch?
Kenneth Obayuana, yes. Just Kenneth Obayuana. If you see my name, you can follow me. Just DM me on LinkedIn. I will be able to provide you more guidance. Yeah. Maybe send a links to you to apply for the internship program. Internship opportunities are currently ongoing. Volunteer will soon be up. Internship is always open. You just apply. So volunteer will be up very soon too. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram.
All right. Thank you very much.
We will mail
Any
you
other
questions, sir. Due to the time constraint, we will mail you 3 questions. If you receive
Yes, I will. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
If there are any other questions, we will mail you as we are running short on time and we have to conclude the session.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right.
Sir.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much. Let's keep in touch.
Yes, sir. With this, we would like to conclude our today's training session. Thank you all the participants for joining and patiently listening to all the lectures. Hope to see you tomorrow at the same time, 5 to 8. Thank you.